What's up, nerds? Welcome to episode 49 of the Omni4Game podcast. I'm Sean, and I'm joined with Chris and Brandon as always. And we also have a special guest with us this week, Benjamin. All right.
I like Benjamin. I guess it's technically my name.
It's literally your name, Ben.
It's literally my name.
What? How dare you call me by my government name?
Yeah, what if his government name was actually like Bendolin or something weird like that, huh?
That'd be so funny. Or if Ben wasn't short for anything, it was just Ben.
I asked Jay last night what his name was because Brandon just put Jay on the paper, so I thought maybe he was just like putting a filler.
That's his actual Bandai username, by the way.
I go, what's your name? And he tried to say it, and he goes, I'm not even gonna try. You guys wouldn't be able to pronounce it.
Wasn't that
fair?
I
don't know.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
Well, he knows. He's like, stupid Americans, they don't know how to say my name. And he's right.
What's up, guys? This week's Omni4Game recap. We go over our locals as always. We hit the ban list discussion, our reactions, how we feel about it, Mirage Loop, and how bad is it for the game. Rule changes are also inbound, and we hit your comment questions as always. So if you guys like this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next episode.
All right. First topic, locals recap. Who gets to go first?
I think I do.
That'll be me or Chris. I think it was Chris, right?
I feel like you should know, Brandon.
I got fifth.
Yeah, that's right.
I got fifth playing Ancient Garu post ban list. I was the only one brave enough to do it. Everyone else here cowered out.
Technically, Ben played post ban list, and Brandon did as well.
Nothing on their decks got hit, so
exactly.
It should have just been me and you.
That's post ban list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you coward.
Almost everyone in the room actually played post ban list. I think I may have been the only one that wasn't.
I would have played Great
if
I had it.
Robbie was playing pre-2020 ban list.
I forgot about that. Someone was playing multiple ice walls in their blue deck.
All right, ice walls. So round one, I played against new player to our locals, Jay. He's from Ecuador. He's here for college. He had 7 Great Demon Lords, mostly max rarity. I think he was missing a couple cards, like the Sisters.
The Lucimons as well. But I don't know. He might be doing the Ben Cope and saying he likes that art better.
Yeah. He was also telling me a pretty sad fact. Leviamons over there in Ecuador are so expensive because they didn't get any of that set. He said the entire country, or they only got like a case of the entire set.
He said 10 boxes. He didn't even say a case. He said the entire country got 10 boxes of VX5.
Yeah, so like Leviamons over here are like $7 right now. He said over there you'd be paying like 40. That's like how hard they were to get over there. So but yeah, so I ended up playing him round one. He got me game one. I just draw really bad with this deck and have really awkward hands sometimes. You
draw so poorly with that deck, dude. It's not even funny.
I ended up getting him games 2 and 3. I held on to my Gatsumons a little bit longer. Like I kept one in raising just for like the longest time, and then promoted until like it was appropriate. And then as soon as he killed that one, I just played the second one out. So that helped me stall. Yeah, so not much to say about that. I think game 3, he could have Agudamoned me, but he didn't have enough cards or names to pop everything on my board and then clear my security and then like kill me with Agudamon. And I think he was saying like what you said, Sean, where if he did do that, I'm just going to Ancient Garu it back to his hand and he's just going to kind of be stuck.
Yeah, he had enough names. You had too many things on the field is actually how that works.
Well, okay. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So I got him game 3. Round 2, I played against. I don't know if this is his first time at our locals. I can't remember. Is this the first time Alan's been to our locals?
I don't recognize him, but if a bunch of people show up at one time, I'm not going to remember a lot of their faces anyway.
Yeah. From what I heard, I think he is from Alabama, and I guess some of the people who had come to the BT17 pre-release had told him about our store, so he showed up. So
all right, so
I ended up playing.
Never
seen since.
Yeah. So I played against Alan round 2, who was playing Melga, like full max rarity.
Maximum rarity.
Yeah, I'm talking
Serial
about even
Omni included.
gold Melga, the Melga X, right? Isn't that the one with the gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're.
One of Melga X, yeah.
He was playing
The
Chase.
2-star.
Yeah, he had a gold card in there, and the only one I can think of is the Melga.
It's one of the alt arts to Melga X antibody.
Oh, from
From
EX5.
Yeah.
The Ice Wall card.
He
Okay,
also-
that card sucks.
He also had the starter deck chase rares for the ace.
He had the Chase Ace. He had the what is that called? He had the Crest Where Garu Ace.
Yep.
He had the regional stamped Omni, the Blitz Omni.
Yeah, everything.
He had the regional champion Where Garu promo, the one of like he had it was the absolute maximum rarity Melga. Brandon was probably creaming his pants.
I mean, I have opinions. I think the full blue looks better than the regional participant champion Wergaru.
I agree, but he was literally because I asked him about because he was playing the pre-release stamped Wergaru X, and I was like, "Did you order?" I was like, "Did you order Evo Cup ones?" And he's like, "This one's actually worth more." So he's going for like maximum value, like it's like actual max rarity.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So played him round 2. Again, just drew really super awkward, weird hands. Like there was one game where by turn 2 I had 3 Ancient Garus in my hand and like 2 Tamers, and I'm like, I can't play with this. And then Garu's just gonna do Garu stuff where if he just sees like his line and just starts swinging at me with jamming, yeah, he's just gonna kill me.
Yeah, if you just sit there and let him just touch himself, he's just gonna kill you.
Yeah. Game 2, I opened up really well where I thought I was just like, okay, I'm just going to kill him really quick because he didn't open a rookie because he got punished because he didn't mulligan. But I guess the rest of his hand was just really good that he was just going to hope to see one eventually. So I literally did like the Uko, Hatch, Louis. Anyways, I cleared like 3 of his security in one turn. And then I proceeded to never touch his security again because my hands just kept getting worse and worse as I drew more cards. So I ended up losing that one 2-0. Round 3, I played against Brandon, who was playing Omni again. Again, I still am like winless against his version of Omni because he plays the BT17 Secret Melga, where he can just stun all my tamers, and I just can't kill him. Like I can Ancient Garu him, but like Brandon is a decent and smart enough player to always like just have a smaller body right next to the Omni. So it's like I can't ever just bounce the Omni.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I attempt to bounce that Digimon, he can just trigger the option card to Omni me again. If I just open up fast enough, I can potentially kill him beforehand, but it's still just like...
Yeah, because you took a game off me. I think it was game 1 or 2.
Yeah. So that was that one. And then round 4, I played against Will, who was also playing Omni, but he's not playing the Secret Melga, which just benefits me. And I just 2-0'd him there. So, yeah. Ended up going X2, post-ban list. I think the red base is just going to not be a thing anymore. I think it'll just be the Gabu Bond version or like the blue base one because the red one just seems way too inconsistent. And like, or it's just me where I just draw really weird hands.
You draw very poorly with that deck.
I would like to see how the power level scales for Bond version, like pre versus post ban list. Like
I would just like to see it being built.
Video on that.
Yeah,
because I want to see how they work.
Maybe
I'll
build that on one of the sims.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
went X2.
Yeah, losing Louis I think really brings that deck down. Good step. Forces you to wait a turn before you can promote every turn.
I don't think it's that big of a loss, but it slows the deck down a little bit. But I don't think it's enough of a loss.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it where you're not triggering your mat every like twice or sometimes 3 times a turn.
It's a big deal because you already with the first check, clear like at least 2 security, and then you promote, and then you get to do it again,
Mm-hmm.
and you draw multiple times in the turn.
Yeah.
Every copy of Matt, you're drawing more.
And
you're
gaining
seeing-
memory.
And gaining memory, yeah. Plus the Louis, you'll gain a memory off that
Yeah.
as well.
I do agree. Like, it definitely slows the deck down a little bit, but I still think that deck's probably going to be tier 1 because I don't think that version that didn't even play the promo Uko, and hitting Louis to 1 just keeps him from doing super degenerate stuff. But the deck itself is really powerful and quick.
Have that strong play.
Yeah.
I will go next. I had 4th place playing Omni. Broke even again. Round 1, I played against Robbie. He was playing Blue Source Strip. It does kind of suck for me because a lot of my stuff is usually sourceless. So he's getting free memory off the hard playing of a level 6 in combination with Sora Joe. So he's basically always maxed out. It doesn't mean anything though, because his only out to my stacks is Digivolve with Vike Ace. And if I still have a sourceless level 6 on the board...
He's not playing Zudo?
Omni? Do what?
He wasn't playing Zudo?
No, he was.
Okay, that's another out.
Oh yeah, hard play it. Miraculous Mega Knight? Thanks for the memory?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, his literal only out is Digivolving, like, the stack next to it. But I still have a level 6 to just do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a pretty bad matchup for him in general. Like, he did slow me down quite a bit. From just, like, chipping away at him for free. So I did have to rely on the Omni and, like, the Alter B. He was the only one I actually hit with Paladin mode the entire night. Because he had Evoed on top of his Zudomon. And he was swinging at me for 2 checks with his Hexplow that was next to it. And I was just like, alright, Paladin mode, now you only have 1 check, and I hit your Zudomon out of your other stack. It's my turn. Boom, boom. Easy peasy. So he was the only one who actually got hit by Paladin. Like, when I dropped it, he was like, I did not expect that. And I was like, and that's why you lost.
Neither did I. When did you steal my Paladin mode? You thief.
Yeah, my Paladin mode.
The one you pulled out of my winter packs.
Yeah, it's in my deck, though.
You dog, you.
That's my Paladin.
This is like when you kept Sean's X antibody for weeks.
Oh, Protoform for like 3-4
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah, my bad.
I remember Chris gave it back to me the week I forgot about it.
The week I went to vacation, I think, yeah. Yeah, round 2, I played against Sean. Of course, his salty spittoon self had to keep playing his full power Magnavax.
I play tested with Ben and Josh for 2 hours Friday and tried to see if I could
Trash.
I just need more time to figure out a list. So I told you ahead of time. I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm playing full power still.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is basically an auto loss for the Omni deck.
Yeah.
I have to have so many things go right in order for that matchup to work in my favor. And one of those things is not open with Uko, Pada, TK, Rapid in hand, 2 Miraculous Mega Knights, or not Miraculous Mega Knights, 2 Awakenings, 2 Magnexes. Like, it was a whole thing that
That's
happened.
right. Open with 10 cards in my hand. That's correct.
Yeah. By turn 2, yeah, honestly. It's crazy how much that deck draws with Toko and stuff.
Sorry, your deck sucks.
Then it's never gonna see the light of the channel, but he did kill me pretty hilariously. I'm just over there watching the game next to us while he does all this crap. It was so funny. I'll let him talk about that. Round 3, I played against Chris. He kind of already talked about it. The moment my option card is set up, I'm always ready to be Ancient Garud. I'm almost never putting something on the board unless I know I have the pieces to, like, Omni him. There was one situation where I had to bluff it. I don't think you ended up swinging. I think you ended up like trying to set up your board instead.
Nope. If I would have just done what I always do and just swing and just be like, if he has it, he has it, you know. And then I was like, let me play smart for once and try and prioritize his board. Yeah, prioritize his board over just trying to kill him and not being punished. I would have just won the game, but instead I ended up getting punished and losing the game.
Yeah, because you swung over my Greymon instead of swinging security, and if you would have swung security, you would have had enough swings to kill me. Because I did not have the Omni. So yeah, feels bad. Then round 4, I played against Alan as well, playing full max rarity Malga. It should be a pretty easy win for me. But I lost 1-2. So how this goes is round 1, or game 1, I saw Miraculous Mega Knight. Therefore I won. Game 2 and 3, I proceeded to have all of them, somehow, congregated at the bottom of my deck. So I never saw it. So I could never keep a board against him, meaning I lost. That's how that went. I didn't see my trap card, so I lost. Feels bad. So, Ben, I believe you're next.
Alrighty. I don't know what place I was in.
I think you were third.
Third, yeah.
Okay.
Based on deduction.
Yeah. I played Lugamon this week. The same Lugamon I've been playing on the channel a bunch. Really streamlined, kill your opponent kind of deck. Round 1, I played Bunnies. The guy I played hasn't played in a while. Also, his deck's not like completely optimum because he doesn't have the rapid X's.
Oh yeah.
So don't worry. If gameplay hit the channel, people would still ask for the deck list.
So I won that one pretty easily. It just took me a few turns finding my pieces, and then I was just like, okay, you're dead.
You're dead, kid.
Round 2, I played against 7 Great Demon Lords. Game 1 was back and forth because wasn't really back and forth. It was like I was doing stuff and he was removing. He played 2 Lucimons against me, so even though I did my 1 chip, he recovered up to 6 because I couldn't. I had nothing on board to to blow up for it.
Yeah.
And so when I did Fenrir Lugamon Kazuchi, I cleared all the security, but I couldn't kill him because he was at too high security. Plus, I had to play around Rise, Lucimon, so it just slows the game down because that deck does have some good trap style effects.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, turn 2, I had everything, so I put him to 0 security. Then I gave him slightly too much memory because I was like, I'm ahead. If you do anything, you're gonna blow up this body. But he hard played Beelzemon on his second turn, milled 4, de-digivolved 2 because I had checked 5 security, so he already has 10 cards in trash. Attacked it, and then played Lucimon to recover. So I was like, okay, even though I have everything set up to kill you this turn, I have to wait a turn because you have a Lucimon on board. So just waited a turn and then killed him the next turn. There's no game 3. Next set, I played against Omnimon. I played Will's Omnimon. Game 1, I think I won pretty handily. I can't remember. I think I had saw my pieces really quickly and killed him. And he's like, "Oh, this is fair." Game 2,
extremely fair.
He miraculous. Was it? I don't know what the card is. The
Miraculous Mega Knight.
The Miraculous Mega Knight option, and played. I think he, because beforehand I was like, I have your matchup. You have a good defense against me because you just play Miraculous Mega Knight with 2 megas, and and I can't get through that because I have to kill one of those bodies.
Yeah.
I also think Will forgets that when you do the Blast Ace, he can use the pieces in his hand and not just the cards on the field.
You can't use the cards on the field.
Well, I know I'm talking like for the DNA Blast Evo, right? Can't you just
you can't use 2 cards on board. It has to be one in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be one in your hand?
Did he do that versus you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I
yeah,
just
you
remember
literally
him
can't.
having. Okay, I just remember having 2 bodies on the board, and he was just like, "I can't do anything against you," and I'm like, "You can just DNA here." And
It's not
It's not optional. You have to use a card.
It's not polymerization. You can't use from your hand or your field.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason you play out 2 bodies to begin with is in case your opponent does nothing to them, you can just DNA for free the next turn with a normal DNA Digivolution.
That, or if you don't have...
Basically, he played the way I told him that you play against me. Because I had literally told him like 2 rounds before. I was like, yeah, you have a good play against me. You just do this and you don't DNA at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I'm like, I'm 50-50 gambling. Like, which one of these can I remove? And I hit the... I try to remove the...
Melga.
What is it? Metal Garu.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, joke's on you, DNA. And I was like, okay, your turn.
I guess.
And then the next turn he played another one. I was like, well, I guess I got to proc this now before I promote my Lugamon. So I played Hell Lugamon, tried to delete the other Mega, and he was like, joke's on you, another Omnimon. And then that's just game. Game 3, I don't remember. But I end up...
I remember your last turn.
Oh, yeah. I remember the last turn, too, but I don't remember what led to that.
He hard played Omnimon Ace for some reason and gave you 10 memory.
I think he killed my Femur Lugamon, my level 7 on the board, because I already had a level 7 on the board, and that's the only he could answer it.
I guess that's understandable. But he had 4 security, and then you just...
Yeah, but then my turn started, and Sean's like, why are you slow rolling him? I was like, I just started my turn. I have to go to 10 memory because I gained 2 from my Lugamons. I gained 1 from my Lugamon promoting. And then I'm like, I have no bodies on board. So I'm like, he has 2 little bodies. So I was like, I need to have a second body. So I need to hard play a body now. And then Sean's like, stop slow rolling him. This turn just started.
In my defense, I didn't know your turn just started. I just walked over and saw you were at 10 memory and looked at your hand and saw combo. And I was like, what are you doing? Just kill him. He has 4 security. He's dead.
Like, I'm getting there. I just got to do this first.
Just show him the cards in your hand. He's dead.
And then round 4, I played against Sean playing full power Magna X.
Mm-hmm.
Game 1 took me too long to find anything, and he had so much advantage by that point that he just win. Game 2, I don't remember. I think Sean was like slow rolling me. Actually, it's like just play the second analog and I just scoop, or the second Digimon Emperor and I just scoop, because all I have in the back is 1 Lugamon and I have a Tamer. He was like, I was trying to make sure you couldn't do anything. I was thinking, like, do I ruin mode you? Do I play this Digimon Emperor? I was gonna do both just to make sure.
No, I couldn't do both. I was just, after thinking about it, because I was trying to figure out how much memory I was going to give you if I ruin moded you.
Memory with a level 6 on board.
Yes.
Do you want to get
but
this one or this one?
I didn't have ruin mode in my hand. I had to activate the TK to get the ruin mode out of my security and then Evo it on top of my Magna X. If you'd given me like another 10 seconds, I would have figured out that that's what I wanted to do.
Do you want to lose this way or this way?
Yeah, and Ben was at 1 security at that point, so like he get locked out of the game and then I promote and kill him next turn.
Because I think you had a Panama in the back as well.
Yes, I did. With a guaranteed target and security.
And then Sean was like, let me play this deck. So we switched decks, and then he got 2-0'd by me playing his deck against my deck.
Yeah, you drew all the texts that I have in my deck that like pee on your deck, because like you like double empered me, maybe even triple empered me game 1, and then you ruin mode locked me out of the game 2. It's like I didn't really get to play. Although in my defense, or game 1, I did just do stupid stuff to do stupid stuff. I could have done something a little better and not just lost the game on the spot, but I was gambling.
Sean came to the conclusion that when you play Lugamon, you just feel like gambling. So you have to like...
Dude, it's... It's like a drug, dude. You're like, I just want to see if I can give you 10 memory and then just kill you.
You just pull the lotto machine.
It literally, that's how it feels. What's stupid though is like, I know that I didn't have combo in my hand. I was just doing stuff to do it just because I was just like seeing where it goes.
The sad thing is, if you already have the yellow green level 4 in trash, you can just Casino Royale and win.
Yeah.
I've done it before.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess I'll go. I played Will's on. I played Will's Omni round 1. That is a basically free matchup for me. On top of it being a bad matchup for Omni in general, the Digimon Emperors and the Ruin modes make it to where they like literally can't even play the game most of the time. So that's super free. Won that 2-0 very easily. Will was pretty salty about the fact that Magnex cannot be interacted with. Round 2, I played against another Omnimon, Brandon. Our match was over in less than 10 minutes. I lethaled him on my 3rd turn, 2 games in a row. The game 1, crazy. It was... Do what?
It's like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, TK doesn't slow the game down, dude. I killed you super quick. Game 1, I OTK'd him, or I didn't OTK him. I put him to 4 security, and then I killed him with 2 Magna X's on my 3rd turn. And then game 2, he gave me 10 memory to keep me from killing him on my 3rd turn because he put 3 megas on the field. Yeah, you had
3 level 6s.
Yeah, you had 3 level 6s on the field, and one of them was your BT17 Melga. So you stunned my 2 rookies and my TK. But I had a Pata coming out of Raising and already had a Rapidmon on the field. So I promoted, went to 10 memory, even into double Magna X, went into Paladin mode, stripped all your sources, and I had checked an Omnimon out of security. So I bot decked that and gained enough memory to keep turn, and then I swung at you 4 times with the Paladin mode and killed you with the Magna X.
Man, it's crazy that you do that with all those awakenings, huh?
Yeah. Round 3.
How many TKs did you have on the board when you did that?
Game 3, I don't think he had any. I think he was just memory setter.
Game 2. Game 2, I had one BT14 TK on the field and a Digimon Emperor, and you stunned that TK. So I didn't actually use it that turn.
And just to give you
you used to it.
You say you promoted a Patamon to start the turn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, you cheated 4 memory, then 3 memory, then 3 memory, then you... Is Paladin 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get 6 and then gain 3 back. And you managed to do that all in 1 turn.
Yeah, I didn't cheat.
Fair.
What are you talking about?
Fair and balanced.
The numbers are correct. I did not cheat.
There's no reason.
I think that's why TK got hit because you gained.
Yeah, there's no reason to hit that deck yet.
Just hit Awakening. Anyways, we'll get to that. Round 3. What did I play against? Oh yeah, I played against Max Rarity Melga. Game 1, I established a Magna X, and he's not playing high speed plugin in his deck. So like
free matchup.
Yeah, if they're not playing.
So far, Sean is 3-0 against all 3 matchups.
Hey, spoilers! I'm going over round 3 now. He didn't have.
You got first place, and you were undefeated.
Yeah, I kept choking him to 1, and then I think I ruin moded him to lock him out of his next turn, and he had 1 security left, and he scooped game 1. Game 2, I opened kind of slow, but I opened Pillamon and Emissary in my hand, and I Pillamon BT1 TK'd, so I knew there was a hit in there, so I promoted, Emissaried, and then Awakening to choke him to 1 with a Magnex on the field. And then I kind of just like had that wall sitting there to where I could amass like good cards, because that was a pretty poor opening. And then I got a second No, I never got a second Magnex established until
you
the turn I
choked him
killed
to 1 and established a Magna X, and he says that's a pretty poor opening.
Relatively speaking, I mean,
this guy
compared to what he did to me, yeah,
this guy,
yeah. But I didn't know what cards he was playing, so like I didn't know what aces to play around, because he could be playing Paladin mode, so like I couldn't swing at him without triggering my Magna X. And if I triggered my Magna X and then swung, I couldn't then have it unsuspended for on his turn so I could block. So I was kind of playing around his Melga basically the whole game. He promotes on his last turn of the game, he has a BT17 Melga, and he ends up evoing into the Ace Melga and then going into the Melga X. And on his second swing, I Paladin moded him, stripped all his sources, and he also had the Ace Wear underneath the BT15 Melga, so I gained 7 memory off that. And then I didn't kill him on the next turn, but I put him to like 0 security and choked him to 1, and like his bodies were dead. So like he was under ruin mode too, I think, as well. So yeah, I won that, and then played against Ben. And game 1, I opened up better than he did. Game 2, I opened up, I think, kind of awkwardly, at least for the first couple of turns. But Ben didn't see his combo when he needed to see his combo, and then I saw the cards I needed to lock him out of the game, and then won that. So I didn't drop a game. Yeah.
I would hope so.
My opportunity to win that game was turn 2, and I didn't have it turn 2.
It literally was. When you promoted and started evoing in your stuff, I said, did I make the mistake of losing the die roll?
So, just remember, Sean has stated on record in this podcast that he does not like OTK uninteractive decks.
Uh-huh.
Fair.
Yeah.
The only thing his deck does not do is kill you in 1 turn. It takes 2 turns.
I mean, I high rolled the bejesus out of you, Brandon. I high rolled you real hard. Also, you're essentially playing Rookie Rush until you're forced to hard slam your megas and give me 10 memory, and then you just lose to my other cards. So like your matchup's free, and I high rolled you on top of it. So like that's not really a good representation of the deck.
Don't worry, guys. He still high rolls even with TK at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 hours for 3 or 4 straight games. He opened Patamon 3 cost TK.
Yeah, and one of the games when I activated the TK, I took the Awakening off the top of my screen, and I was like, yes, turn 2 Magna X, let's go.
I opened up kind of slow, established a Magna X, choked him to 1 memory, and goes, deal with it, bud.
He never did.
Clearly.
Yeah, you don't say, Sean. You don't say.
What's funny is like I had both aces in my hand. I had the burst mode in my hand first, and I was like, this doesn't really feel good to do, because he'd poked me a couple of times when I had burst mode in my hand, but I had no reason to do it, because I didn't want to swing on my turn and then get Paladin moded. But once I drew the Paladin mode, then I was like, oh yeah, this is game.
Oh yeah, and if Magnum wasn't enough, you have a wall that says, "Hey, I have a free ace target now. So if you can somehow get past this Magna, can you get past minus
whatever's coming on top of him?
Minus 25 K DP."
Oh.
Yeah, or Paladin, strip all your sources. If I still turn with this, I just kill you with Paladin on my turn.
You have no right to be upset.
Anyways, yeah, I came in first place. You guys all suck, scrubs.
Oh, I'm sorry. You played against 3 free matchups. I wish I had 3 free matchups.
I'll bring like something like All Force next week and pray you don't have any level 7s in hand and just pause plug in.
You're not gonna play Gabu Bond?
I mean, I could, but I'm probably just gonna keep sticking to Omni. I've been really enjoying the deck. I've just been unlucky with certain unless it's against Chris. If it's against Chris, I'll see exactly what I need.
I did against Will play around the Miraculous Mega Knight by digivolving to my level 4, forcing his Mega to attack. And then digivolving all the way up to Kazuchi, but he had 2 bodies, so I had 16 minus 16 on one of the smaller bodies, and then just pass turn. So because Miraculous Mega Knight doesn't protect you from battle.
Yep.
So I just blocked it, and then I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about that anymore. But he could have did it again, I had to gamble, but he didn't have the other piece in hand in the first place. So I technically had game the turn before, but I just didn't want to risk it.
Well, it's appropriate to play around.
I did troll Sean pretty hard because I didn't even have the Omni in hand. But whenever he selected my first level 6 for the bot deck. I like magical hatted them, and I flipped them all around. I was like, which one did you pick?
Yeah, he had 1 War Gray and 2 Melgas, so I was like, I'll just bot deck the one of, and he kept moving it around.
Oh, you wanted this one? I didn't even have the Omni in hand, but it was just funny.
Yeah, I mean, the Omni wouldn't have done anything because my Paladin was immune, and so was my Magna.
Yeah.
You would have bot decked my 2 rookies that you stunned anyway, so I didn't care.
Yeah. You'd have had blocker. I could have blocked and given you 5 more memory.
I was about to say, you could have. You could have given me more memory, thanks. Alright. Is everyone watching the stream?
Yep.
I'm here for your imminent disappointment.
Alright, ban list reactions.
Yay.
Alright. First restriction, promo Ukomon. It was intended for this to be a card that could be combined with P130 Louis Iwata and used in a variety of decks, but the importance of this one card turned out to be much bigger than predicted, as it increases the speed of control decks that don't require level 3 and provides many options by securing memory. As a result, there's a difference in power between decks that can use this card and those that can't, resulting in a loss of diversity in the decks that can be used. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck.
I don't think control decks were the problem with Ukomon.
I also had that thought when I read that. I was like, who... That's like the people that call Numa a control deck, which I disagree with.
I think they're literally calling Numa a control deck.
Yeah, and like obviously the hybrid decks are not control decks, so like I don't know. Maybe there's like a language barrier issue here. I don't know.
Mistranslation.
Honestly, Numamon reminds me of what was that strategy? Yellow
Green Rookie Rush.
Yellow Green Rookie Rush, where you just play the option. And
the Spiral Masquerade.
Yeah, you just remove stuff.
It's pretty similar, except for it has like a nasty top end.
It's actually got a top end that can float, and you have good aces.
That deck did not float.
On top of float.
Yeah, that deck didn't float and also didn't have a top end. So like once you started outing their bodies, they kind of lost if they didn't kill you. I don't think anyone's surprised by this. This was in our predictions.
Yeah, it makes the most sense out of the Ukos that this is the one that gets hit.
I still think they should have hit both. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, 5 Ukomons is going to be very different from 8.
It slows the decks down that we're playing all 8 enough on top of the other hits for the most part that I think it was. I think if you're going to hit one of them, this makes the most sense because only the Degen decks are playing all 8.
Yeah.
If this one costed 1 memory just like the other one, I don't think it would be terribly as bad. Because then at least the memory gain is like
it's just like a rebate.
Negligible.
Yeah.
But it's the hatch plus the memory that's makes this card so bad.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this guy?
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I've said it before, but hit the one that's degenerate and gives you free memory.
They're both really
I was gonna say not the one that.
I honestly think the other one's stronger.
The other one's stronger in decks that aren't playing all 8.
Yeah.
The other one's only... I'm not even going to say, like... It I guess it's stronger, but, like... I think it's more helpful to the rest of the game, because, like, decks that need a searcher that just don't have one, it works with. And you can't Digivolve on top of it. So you're basically wasting a Tama.
You're not wasting a Tama. You get another Tama back immediately.
Yeah, but then you can run out of Tamas.
Oh, damn, dude! What a drawback! You run out of Tamas. Oh no!
That's literally that literally happened to me last night. I ran out of Tamas.
Okay, does that mean you win the game?
And guess what I couldn't do? I had like 4 rookies in my hand. I couldn't play.
You can play Paladin mode. Put them back in your Digi-Egg stack and then hatch again.
You're right. I'll just Paladin mode them all back.
I mean, that's what I do.
There's also I think there is a tamer that puts a Digi.
It's a 3-cost green tamer that literally never was played.
Yeah, never played.
It's the original Yoshino Fujito or whatever the hell her name is.
That's right. That's funny.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with Ben. It's quite possible BT17 Uko could potentially get hit in the future. But for the time being, I don't think it was necessary. But I could see it going on the ban list at some point.
I don't think it needs to be touched at all. I think it's fine.
I think it's fine now, but I understand what Ben's saying, and like it is a massive tempo gain, and if you're able to play it, you can. Louis, By repeating combining effects that aren't once per turn, such as BT6088 Matt Ashida's with this card's on play effect, the game speed accelerates dramatically, making it difficult for many decks to compete. Because various decks use countermeasures against this combination, decks that are strongly affected by the countermeasures are no longer able to perform as effectively as they should, resulting in a loss of diversity in the decks being used. For the above reasons, we've decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. They're literally talking about Digimon Emperor.
I was about to say translation because Bond what is it? Ancient Guru or not Bond? It's not been Bond yet until we get the Bond.
Yeah, until we get that in December.
Because Ancient Guru is so fast and uninteractable, people have to play Digimon Emperors in their deck, so their decks are worse.
Yep, it's exactly the reason why Omnimon is such a free matchup for me on top of the Magna X, is because I'm playing 4 Emperors and it just poops on them.
They said a specific example to tell you exactly what deck they're talking about. Then they said you have to play something to counter that. What counters that is Digimon Emperor.
Yes. Yeah, this was in our predictions as well.
You need more than one Digimon Emperor because they'll still keep turning through a Digimon Emperor.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing 4. The more the merrier. Yeah, I don't. Maybe one of you guys is surprised, but like I thought this was probably going to be a hit.
It's a good quality of life. It's a good quality of life hit. It's basically if you see your one with an unhatched egg, it's basically a hybrid for game.
Yeah, it's like another Blitz Omni or hybrid for game. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I watched Chris Slow roll
or just a tempo, or
the Demon Lord player. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just gonna be something to pull the game in your favor now instead of winning the game.
Chris Slow rolled.
If Louis hatched you, he'll be like the most degenerate thing ever.
Oh yeah, I would have wanted that card super banned if he hatched on top of, like, if he either hatched or promoted, and he gained memory. If he did either one, that'd be disgusting.
He does promote and gain you memory.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
if he also hatched on top of that.
Yes, if it was like an either or, like you could either hatch or you could either promote, and you can tap this to gain a memory if you hatch or promote. Disgusting. Chris slow rolled this versus the 7 Great Demon Lords player last night. Put him to 0 security, and he was sitting there like,
Chris, did you slow roll him, or did he come over and look at your hands like, why aren't you doing this?
Don't have a hybrid. No, I was sitting across the table. I didn't know he had it in his hand. And then he played the Louis and promoted and swung for game.
I had to because he plays option cards that kill my cards, so I swung with everything on the board first and looked at my hand and go, okay, I guess I just Louis him here for game.
I guess.
Also, you kind of want to like make sure, like, is this what I want to do before you do it?
Do I want to win the game on the spot right here? Let me think about this for a moment.
Let me think about all the punishes for this play.
All the interaction you could possibly do with this clear board and no security. Hammer Spark.
I guess you got me nervous because I'm still thinking of like, I'm gonna get hand trapped if I do this though. And I'm like, oh no, there's no hand traps.
Does he have Battle Fader? do I just get reversal here? Imagine we get a Battle Fader.
I wonder how cheap those new hammer sparks are now.
The ones you gave me.
While we're talking.
No,
these.
I mean, they were already cheap.
They shot up to like $80 prior to this format.
The price went up on those.
Yeah, I was actually sad because I had sold mine when they were like 15ish, and then they shot up to 80, and I was like, cool.
So the regular Tamer Box one is $8.
No, are you sure that's not like another language?
I'll check.
People routinely list foreign languages of those.
I mean, yeah, you are correct. Why? That is so dumb.
If you bought the original Tamer box, you also got Japanese ones on top of the English ones.
Huh.
So there's a bunch of Japanese ones in circulation because of that.
That's so like manipulative.
Well, you get 2 and 2. So like I didn't.
No. I'm talking about
1 and 1. I think. I'm sorry.
People who sell something for somebody to accidentally buy the wrong one. You're like, oh, I didn't think I was buying this.
Well, they actually.
I know they tell you.
Photo.
It's also. Yeah, you're forced to add an image if it's a foreign language. I get what you're saying though. It's like eBay listings and stuff. Like, why are you even listing this? Who's gonna buy it?
Okay, so the first non-Japanese listing is $44.
Yeah, and dropping, I'm sure.
No thanks.
Yeah.
The championship copy is $30.
Mm-hmm.
Price that one's cheaper. I thought it'd be fewer of those on the market because is that from the Worlds, or is that from like Nationals as well?
It's from the first Nats.
Okay, there's probably a lot more from Nats then.
I think people also probably just prefer the no text on the card art.
Yeah. How about these? How much are these? These should be free now, right?
Yeah, they're like maybe $1.
Yeah, and steadily dropping, I'm sure, when people are panic listing them.
Yeah, $1.95 and $1.20.
Yeah, and I'm sure that none of them are getting bought right now. All right, Hammer Spark. This card has been used in decks that include blue cards for a long time, but the increased variety of cards available now allows for more card drawing, making it possible to have multiple cards in the hand and use them consecutively in one turn. As a result, it has become easier to speed up the game, widening the gap between decks that can use this card and others. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck.
I don't think.
I get what.
I was gonna say I don't think Blue ever had a problem drawing cards.
It didn't. Yeah. That's hilarious that they say that when Blue has always had the most draw power out of any color, like by a wide margin.
I don't understand why they had to wait until BT17 to hit this.
Yeah.
Like, they probably could have hit this a while ago.
It's kind of funny because I mentioned to Josh, because I think I was salty about, what's the red one?
Gravity Crush.
Gravity Crush. I was like, they should just get rid of all the zero-cost free memory cards.
They legitimately should. They all should probably go to 1.
Yeah, the problem with those is if they end up in security, they're just negligible. Hammer Spark actually has a super good security effect on top of being a really good on-play effect.
While I agree with you, they also gain you 1 extra memory.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I still agree. I think Blinding Ray, Grav Crush, Jack Raid, I think is probably okay because, like,
nope.
As long as you keep purple in check,
it's the only one that has like.
It's better Hammer Spark.
It does nothing in the beginning of the game, and you have to have 10 cards in trash. Which, if your deck is not catering to trashing cards,
it's a purple card.
Yeah, it's purple.
With 10 is 1 memory.
Then we talked about this.
The only reason it wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for Lilith. You have to just because Lilith use it multiple times.
The issue with Jack Raid is the decks that do play it abuse the hell out of it to where it gains you like several memory every time you activate it. On top of it also having the same security effect as Hammer Spark, it's literally Hammer Spark with a slightly lower floor, but its ceiling is like astronomically high.
Higher. Yeah.
I can see it getting hit though, like with all the other zero cost though.
I think they all should.
You could use the exact same logic for hitting Hammer Spark as for hitting Jack Raid, Blinding Ray, and Grav Crush.
Yeah. I think the only reason those other 3 dodge this is because they're not in meta decks currently, but if they start seeing abuse in decks again, it's quite possible they'll get hit finally.
Yeah.
Any of y'all play Hearthstone?
A little bit.
Nope.
No.
I have in the past. I don't currently play it actively.
Well, you played in the past. You remember Miracle Rogue?
I did not play it enough to recognize card names now.
It wasn't. It was just like a whole concept where you play a bunch of cheap stuff in one turn and draw a bunch of cards with like what was his name? It was a 6-drop that every time you played a spell, or what do they call it in that game?
A card.
What were like the magic cards in Hearthstone called?
I can't remember.
But every time they weren't spells. I don't think they're spells.
Enchantment. I can't remember.
But every time you play one of those cards, you draw a card, and you just play a bunch of cheap zero-cost cards. And it just reminded me of that kind of strategy where you just do a whole bunch in one turn.
Yeah, it's memory cheating, which is always going to break the game if they allow it too much. It's like,
I think if Blinding Ray required you to have a security to trigger, it wouldn't be as bad. Because, I mean, that's like a pretty steep price to pay in some decks.
True. I remember in BT...
Gravity Crush is like... It's only, I think, really viable if you're killing them that turn. Like, if you're winning that. Otherwise, it's like you're giving them 2 more memory. And unless you can, like, set it up a certain way, like, where they have a memory tamer... Where you like choke them to 1 and be like, okay, affect Gravity Crush.
Yeah.
Set you to 3. Okay, you're losing the benefits here. So, but they're also both in like red. Red's never gonna play Gravity Crush because red's just not good right now.
I was gonna say of
Red
the
Hybrid
zero
question
cost
mark?
options, Hammer Strike is easily the worst. It is. The front end is completely free. You just get a memory, no matter what, no cost. And the backside is if you hit this in security, I gain 2 memories, which is probably got it most, which can possibly end your turn.
Yeah.
Right.
And stealing turn in that scenario, you probably just lost the game.
Jack Raid is like comparable, but it needs a little bit of time to set up. You can't just immediately use it anytime you want to.
I mean, you say that, but it requires 10 cards in your trash in a purple deck.
Gravity Crush probably would have been worse if it wasn't for the fact it didn't have a security effect. If they gave Gravity Crush a security effect, I think it would be probably better than Hammer Strike.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that neither one of them have security effects is what like makes them really bad. Not really bad, but like makes them worse off.
It balances them for sure, but I still think they're pretty strong because like in red yellow decks, like the Merva Cross deck, you can just like amass Grav Crushes and Blinding Rays and just go to like 10 memory and just kill your opponent. And there's no drawback because they're dead.
The drawback is, do you have your cards? And you're playing bricks that if you don't have your cards, makes you less consistent.
Yeah. Awakening of the Golden Knight. This card is used in decks that mainly use BT17 102 Magnamon X antibody, which has a high usage rate in recent game environments. Shocker. When combined with cards such as level 3 cards that support Digivolution, Patamon, it was possible to keep BT16 102 Magnamon X antibody on the board early on and move toward attacking. True. The above play is very powerful and creates situations that many decks can't handle, scrub decks. To fix this issue, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck.
Scrub decks? Every deck.
Deck?
Cope decks that people bring to their locals.
There's literally DP minusing that persists to your opponent's turn, forcing it to attack, which doesn't answer it.
It doesn't answer it cleanly, but it can potentially if you have the right ace.
What's another way of answering it?
Ignoring it.
Ignoring it.
Just tells you.
Playing cards that just ignore it and kill them anyway.
Trying to turn off their Windage Evolving effect.
Yeah, Venusmon or Pause plugin. You could completely lock them from triggering it for a turn.
Okay, so yeah. So what?
Super niche things
that a lot of decks don't have access to. A lot of the tier 2 and below decks don't have access to, I should say.
So is it literally just persistent DP minus, force it to attack, or what was the third choice?
Venusmon or Pause plugin,
or
where you
stop
just
it from doing Windage Evolving.
Yeah,
those like the only 3 answers.
Basically, unless you count ignoring it as an answer.
I would say that's an answer. Having cards that let
you the game,
that keep you from being redirected. Yeah.
But that's not. I'm saying that doesn't answer it.
If you win the game, it doesn't matter.
That's good. The part is like it's not a problem. I'll just let it sit there. It won't do anything, right?
I mean, decks that ignore it kill you that turn. Like they're just like, hey, you can't block me. I'm gonna kill you anyway. Nice card.
Yeah, I was
which is harder now because you have level 7 aces. So you're like, because you somehow got past this, can you get past this card? Which
can you do it now?
Which checks everything that checks me.
Correct. Thank you, Banda. Very cool.
Considering playing a black base of the Omni deck. I'm still like testing and seeing how I feel about it. But because you have the black base, I could actually play the 1-cost option that just forces your opponent Digimon to attack at start of turn.
Lapalis's Demon or whatever the hell.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna like black base Omni.
I don't think I will either, but I want to test around with the deck more.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
You don't get the archetype Agumon and Gabumon.
Yeah, you do.
You can get the Gabumon. The Agumon you'd have to hard play.
You'd have to hard play it, yeah.
Does the Gabumon Digimon?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So I'd be playing far superior searchers. At a full 4 of each.
I think we're getting off topic here.
Yeah. I think I'd also be playing.
As he continues,
the All-Thrust Tamer.
We're going over the ban list, Brandon. We're not doing a deck profile of your hypothetical black base.
Question, so I was trying to answer it.
I think you just asked one question that we did answer, and then you just were like, "Here's the deck profile." This hit makes sense. I was anticipating this. I was coping and just joking whenever we did our ban list predictions, but like I understand this card probably needed to be hit. They printed it well before they thought up BT16 Magna, which Honestly, they shouldn't have printed BT16 Magna, but here we are.
So we can admit that you going from promote rookie to 3 memory into Magna X is too much?
I would say it was a necessary evil, considering all of the other unfair strategies that are roaming around S tier. That kill you.
You can still do it. You just pass
to pay your
turn.
memory like everybody else.
You just pass turn with the Magna instead of
Yeah. I mean, I agree. This card probably needed to be hit. My only issue with this list, which I guess we'll get to, is like I don't think they hit enough of the other stuff. But
I think if you couldn't just freely activate its effect so often, it wouldn't be so bad. That's why the armor version is so. I'm not gonna say so much worse, worse than the vaccine version.
It's inferior because it does not have the same memory manipulation as the yellow vaccine.
It's inferior. It's slower. It's just and it's just
Patamon.
Like in the vaccine version, you can just freely activate its effects so often. I think that's the worst part of it. Yeah, speeding it up and jumping it from the level 4 to the Magna is kind of unfair. But I mean, that's what the Magna version does. They just go from Magnamon to the Magna X.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're paying 4 to 5 memory for that.
5 memory.
Yeah, right. So like I get that, but you still have to like hope that your level 4 is in security to do that and jump into that. I mean, yeah, you can set it up. But anyways, like I was saying, it's just
sure. I'm 95% sure in mine and Sean's matchup, I made a note while he was playing. I was like, is that all 4 copies of Starter Deck Rapid? And he goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's all 4. And it was turn 4.
Yeah.
No, turn 3.
So
we didn't make turn 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's the fact that you can activate its effect so freely as the vaccine player, as far as the armor player, you have to like kind of find a way to do that. Yeah, we have to play like Blinding Ray to even trigger it. Hell, they're even playing the Flame Dramon. They're playing the Flame Dramon now just to do it more actively.
I will say, yeah, this hit actually, my original reaction to this ban list was, well, they didn't even touch the Magnamon armor version, but this hit actually does affect that, because if they go into Flame Dramon, they cannot go into Magnamon X anymore without the one of Awakening, because he only is on top of Magnamons.
Also, in the Magna version, since they hit Hammer Smart, they're most likely not going to keep turn either Digivolving to a Magna X.
Well, I know Josh's list played Hammer Spark, but most lists that I've seen did not play Hammer Spark. Like they played Blinding Ray, if anything.
I mean,
but
usually
most decks even then didn't keep turn with the Magna X.
Yeah.
The deck doesn't gain enough memory.
Yeah.
Digivolve to a 3 and to a 5. I mean, you could if you have the right setup, but if you have setup, it's all for you, because that means you took a turn to not do anything.
Yeah. Like imagine
unless you're
Magna in the racing area.
Mirage, your setup turn basically sets up OTK.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nume X. This is the hit that I suggested.
Yeah, I think we all agreed on this one.
I didn't agree on this.
Yeah, Ben disagreed.
Oh no, yeah, Ben didn't.
Ben wanted Monze X.
Monze X, yeah.
I will say, one thing we didn't discuss last week that I also forgot to discuss is this card also allows turn steals, because you can play cards out from your trash, a specific Platinum Boy, and gain memory off of his on play.
That is true.
This also allowed turn steals, which I felt like was considerably more unfair than, oh no, he played a body and outed my entire stack.
Yeah.
I think with Numamon, even after these the 3 hits it took, I think its low end is kind of weakened by a lot, but I still think it's got like a fantastic top end with the Monzimons, the Monzi X, and then Edamon. Yeah, I think they can, because they have access to such good ace cards like Valkyremon, like Vikemon Ace if they want to play that.
Cherubi.
Cherubi. They even have level 7 aces now that they can play and have access to. So, and I think a lot of those the promo Ukamons will just get replaced by the that black level 3.
More floodgates. You can play more floodgates now.
Yeah, you just play more floodgates. So instead of it being like a rookie rush style list where it's like, hey, we're gonna rush you down real quick and then like kind of control you with our top end, it'll just be like, hey, we're gonna control you with our bottom end and just try and kill you with our top end.
Yeah.
It's basically this is sort of like going to transition to like a more control based deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
It just
I think Bandai's thought process behind Numa was always control base, which is why they said it earlier. But we as the player base took it, turned it into a rookie rush, like super hyper aggro deck with those cards that we have already talked about.
Yeah, and I think Numa X just helped the body or the deck stay too sticky. You know what I mean? Like you could clear their stuff, but then it's just all coming back. I agree with Ben. The Monzi X is very strong, but like it's so much easier to go into the Monzi X when after I kill your stack and they're just like, okay, well my card just come back.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, now I can do the Monzi stuff again. But now if I kill that stack, they don't have those bodies come back as frequently for you to follow up with the Monzi play.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of. Did y'all play Yu-Gi-Oh? Did any of y'all play in the Zodiac format?
Hold on, Ben. You can continue talking if you want, but I'm about to piss myself. BRB. Sorry, it was really bad.
You're all good. Are you aware of a deck called Zodiac?
Yes.
Okay, so it was like this tier 0 deck that was just like...
Yeah, there's one card comboed
strong.
you.
They hit this deck to the point where it had no boss card in the archetype, and people still played it because it was still that good. Because you needed one card, and you had a consistent board presence. Because any one of their cards can turn into anything in their extra deck.
Yeah. It's a pretty stupid design.
And then it evolved to the point where they just play that and a bunch of the best trap cards and hand traps in the game.
Yeah, they just played the engine and just put other stuff in it. Yeah.
That's how I feel about Numamon. Numamon is just such a good, strong core that you really
build around it.
You can still build around it and play it. It's still going to do stuff. It's just going to be different.
100%. Yeah. That's why I would prefer the Numa exit whenever we were talking about it, is because this doesn't actually kill the deck as much as it does hurt it. Whereas if you take away the Monzi X, you can float.
I'll say, yeah, you take away like some of the defensive capabilities, control aspects of the deck.
Yeah, like you're essentially just turning it into a rookie rush deck that can like, yeah, it'll go into whatever, but like you Crimson Blaze, you pill them on them, like you just shut them the entire deck down and they can't really do anything.
It has DP minus that persist and minus security attack, so it's gonna have some sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even still with the platinum, you can still float.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if you see the one, you're good because you just
recycle it. When using Numamon decks, this card has a high board retention from the beginning of the game, and its inherited effects can be reused when combined with other cards, allowing the single card to significantly increase the ability to control the entire deck. In addition, since a level 6 can also be played by its effect, it's easy to digivolve from there to level 7, which has a higher output to create a one-sided control board at an early stage. For the reasons stated above, we expect this card will play a very large role in the deck, resulting in a loss of diversity in the cards included. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. They definitely just typed what they typed in Japanese and put it in Google Translate for these.
Yeah, feels like it.
Yeah, the deck diversity, getting 3 new cards.
Yeah.
But it'll change. It'll basically change the way you play the deck.
Yeah, it will. People will still play it. Like, I don't think it's even close to being dead, but it definitely hurts the power level of it. That and the promo.
This is also why I say I don't think Ukomon from 5 to 8 is all that big of a difference. You just lose a little bit of consistency, but in this deck, you just needed that to get pressure out. And I still think the BT17 Uko is better.
Yeah,
it's better in decks.
Even in this deck, even if you couldn't keep turn because you couldn't get 3 memory, because this deck all it needs is 3 memory to do anything.
Yeah.
Yep. But I feel like with the Uko, like the BT16 was the card that rose all tides, rose all ships. I've said that a lot.
I think it's a better positive than it is a negative.
Yeah.
Currently,
promo
yes.
was just generically used in the decks that always played every copy.
Yeah, only Degen decks played all 8.
Because, I mean, a lot of decks sometimes don't even play 5 Ukos. They just play 4. Like, they're just going to be 4.
I just play 4.
A lot of decks just play 4.
I mean, a lot of decks only play a full playset. Like, I'm checking around 3 of this BT16 to come on.
Yeah, that's what I said last week. Like, the decks that don't play all 8, they play anywhere from 1 to 4 of the BT16, when a lot of them don't play 4.
So yeah, this is the point.
Like, I have an empty slot. Throw an Uko.
This is the point in the ban list. Sean's reading. He's looking at the cards. Everything's okay.
Yeah,
sure,
I had just woken up.
But he expected it. Mm-hmm. He expected it.
I was like, no surprises so far. Hammer Spark, yep. I understand. It was surprising, but like I understand why they did it.
Yep. And then he scrolled right here after reading this and saw this and absolutely lost his stuff. Guys, if I could show you our messages, you could see the slow escalation of pure rage and anger.
There was the descent into madness.
Yeah, and the more people commented about this and just made stupid observations, he got angrier and angrier. So, thanks, Bandai.
Yeah, BT14 TK. I was shocked and appalled when I scrolled to this card.
And appalled.
I scrolled down to it and then scrolled back up and then scrolled down.
I didn't see that.
I was like,
this is the wrong list.
I was like, do my eyes deceive me? What am I looking at here?
Hold up. Wait a second.
This hit me at 11. I did not anticipate this in the slightest. This completely took me off guard. BT14 TK. Having multiple of this card in play makes it easy to continuously and significantly increase memory, guaranteeing stability in yellow vaccine decks and others that use this card. There are no other decks. Also, this card's role through the entire game becomes significant since the effect, which increases or decreases security cards, can be activated for a low memory cost. On top of this, having memory gained after recovery effects lets a player do more and makes matches take excessively longer. For these reasons, this card will be limited to 1 copy in a deck. This card is not the reason why matches took longer. Slow players are the reason why matches took longer.
By definition, Sean, you get more memory, therefore you can make more actions in a turn. Therefore, the turns are longer.
BT11 Mirage gains my opponent.
I'm not saying that's not an issue either.
Do you know how many times I've been lethaled by a Mirage player while they were at 10 memory? Also had a Magna X on the field. Very fair. Much balance.
Hold on. You say that and you didn't want to put it in the S tier?
Sorry. I forgot about that. Magna X also loses to decks that can't be blocked.
Yeah, that's what Brandon was saying.
That's what we were saying.
Ignore it.
Yeah,
ignore it.
That's what we said.
That's not ignoring it.
It is ignoring
it.
You have to be more
He's just standing there. He's standing there menacingly, and Mirage just like, yeah, I'm still going to get in there, though.
Yeah, not anymore though. We have level 7 aces, so that's not a solution anymore. You just have to hope they don't have the ace, I guess. I vehemently disagree with this hit. Besides, honestly, when I got to that last sentence that says it makes the matches take longer, it really pissed me off because that's a stupid reason to hit a card. Because this card doesn't actually make the matches take longer. Excessive recovery makes matches take longer, not a card that just does this.
It's too much advantage over time. Each one is consecutively cheaper. And it's honestly probably the strongest card in yellow vaccine.
I would have
plus 1 Patamon, it's 1 memory.
I would have preferred if they. I would have preferred.
It's basically like a 2-card engine with Patamon, and then if you see both, you're just like, oh, I can do whatever I want.
Guaranteed 3 memory.
Anyway. I was expecting them to hit Awakening. I wasn't shocked by that at all. And I was like, they'll probably hit Emissary to 1 as well. Them hitting this was probably the worst card they possibly could have hit for the deck. It basically kneecaps the engine. I would have actually preferred they hit Patamon to 1. If they were going to leave Emissary at 4, I would have preferred they limited Patamon because at least you can guarantee your Emissary hit with this card. But with them hitting this card and leaving Emissary and Patamon to 4, you kind of just have to cross your fingers and hope that you have a level 4 hit in your security, which is you basically just killed the engine.
See, we also talk about this. This happens a lot in other card games. The other one I play, Marvel Snap. Every time the second dinner releases a new card, and the player base gets the card, and then of course it's overpowered because guess what? They want the card to be overpowered because they want people to get the card.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? They release an OTA to balance the game. But what do? Instead of hitting the problem card that just came out, the new card that they want everyone to get, your new shiny toy, they hit all the cards around it instead. Yeah. That's what's happening here. Is they don't want to hit Magna X, because if they do, that's their shiny toy. If they hit that to 1, Awakening or this don't need to get hit. So what they do instead is hit the cards around it, which is Awakening and this.
I honestly think beforehand, I was like, I don't think Magna X needs to be hit because for one thing, it's a level 6, so it's all right for level 6 to be powerful. Also, the real issue was how quickly you got to it, and in the early stages of the game, you're already ahead, so your opponent has to play catch up while you're developing your second wave.
Assuming you open strong, but as you know, Ben, you can just open like basically unplayable with that deck sometimes. But yeah, if you high roll them, obviously, yeah. I also forgot to mention this. I would have also rather they limited Magna X than hit this card.
Yeah, I agree, because now like the Great Angels decks can't really function because they need this card.
No, you don't. My deck was functioning perfectly fine.
It hurts your consistency of that deck, Ben.
It hurts the consistency, but it's not.
Well, I'm not saying it's unplayable. I'm gonna say it's like.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying it's not even. It doesn't even feel inconsistent. It just feels like.
Have you ever played that deck with 4 BT14 TKs?
No, but I'm saying
exactly. Okay, you don't know.
It was working. It was feeling like. I think the real significance of this hit is the fact that over the course of a game, you would get so much advantage because each TK is cheaper than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And as you add more, if you have 3 TKs, you're like, well, if I do anything, I have 3 free memory, so I can do at least this action.
Guess what card wasn't a problem until BT16 came out? This card.
This card was a problem.
This card wasn't a dude. Yellow Vaccine.
I know you can say it's scuff format, but I did get 3 top 8s.
You got it.
The Ultimate Cups.
It was in a limited format where 70% of the player base was playing blue Ricky Rush strats that just hard lose to recovery and removal, which Yellow Vaccine had access to. And you're also a good player, so like on top of you having a plus matchup into like half the field. Yeah,
it's because this deck has so much more advantage, and this deck basically plays blue at times because of how much memory you have.
Yes, but this card was never an issue until Magna X got printed, Ben. Yellow Vaccine was like fringe tier 1 at best until Magna X got printed.
Agreed.
They hit this card because, like Chris said, they hit this card because of Magna X.
Yeah.
To be fair though, even in going to like BT18, 3 Great Angels is starting to make a push in their format. Because I was looking at deck lists and I was seeing like Yellow Vaccine. I saw like 3 Magnas, but I saw like 8 Great Angel decks.
How many of them were playing 4 copies of this?
Every single deck. If you play this at 4 every
exactly. They hit an entire engine in order to not hit Magna X. It's
to make the Patamon less consistent. I guess that makes
which is worse. Yeah, it's like limiting HPD to 1. Like you're gonna feel that much worse if your opponent opens Pata and a hit out of security, and God forbid they open the 1 Awakening and Magna X you on turn 2.
I think this hit is fun. I'm saying that as a Yellow Vaccine player who's played Yellow Vaccine since it came out.
You haven't played Yellow Vaccine competitively in like 3 months.
But
I played for like 4 or 5 straight months.
You did.
Yeah, even then,
but you haven't played it in a while.
Back then, he's still saying this card is broken.
He also doesn't think Balmont should go to 1. So
I agreed with what he said. I think it should have been analog, or it should have been level 5.
Analog might be on the chopping block because of is genericness.
It's the best purple tamer ever printed.
even purple decks don't have even more in purple decks right now with like the bond
the ancient decks. Yeah, they play those, but yeah, I was very upset about this hit. I still am.
It's just that purple's the only thing that wanted their stuff to die.
Yeah,
proactively.
Well, and put cards in your trash. It's the best purple tamer ever printed.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm still upset about this. And when Ben tries to rationalize it, it also pisses me off. Let's talk about cool cards coming back. Restricted cards that will be lifted.
This is what pissed me off the most.
This also annoyed me.
Yeah, more cards could have come off. I don't get it, but whatever.
Before we get to this, so this was the last card that I read, and then I was like, okay, what else is getting hit? Because blue decks have not been hit enough. You just took the one deck that could stop OTK decks from running rampant and kneecapped it. What are you going to do to the blue decks that aren't really affected by Hammer Spark going to 1 or Promo Louis going to 1? Oh wait, nothing. Mirage is probably tier 1 again or S tier or whatever. So like the entire the sequencing of all of this really upset me. What were you saying, Brandon?
I said you say again as if it hasn't been tier 1 this entire time.
People stopped playing it, so it fell out.
It's literally like if Ancient Garu is at full power, it's a worse Ancient Garu. Ancient Garu requires significantly less setup and it's more low to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cards that will be lifted. I unfortunately knew ahead of time before reading the ban list that Grey X did not come back because the one notification I could read on my phone when I woke up was all caps from Chris saying, "Give us Greymon X back." So yeah. Started X6 Gabumon. In past game environments, when this card was widely used by combining it with a Digimon that had an effect that let it attack consecutively and activating its inherited effect that doesn't have once per turn multiple times, it increased the speed and consistency of decks that made use of the trash. However, as the card pool has increased in recent game environments, there are now more ways to suppress attacks, ace cards. Because of this, we have determined that it has become more difficult to consistently activate this card's effect multiple times compared to before. Therefore, we have decided to change this card from restricted to 1 to unrestricted.
Of the cards on the list, this is one of the ones I think was least likely to come off.
I agree.
Simply because once per turn is a very important thing.
I agree. This was out of the 2 Gabu cards that are still out of the 3 Gabu cards that are on the list or were on the list, this was the one that was in third place for my likelihood of coming back.
Right.
I was like Gabu X or the BT2 or BT3 Gabumon.
BT2 is probably number 1 because you lose your Digimon, so therefore you have to start all over.
And Eismon's at 1 as well, so you no longer have the on deletion draw 7 discard a couple cards.
Herbal doesn't have anything that just says, "Oh, I found this card, I win now. I just hard play this now," right?
Yeah.
Brandon,
they have a Pokemon at 1, but yeah, they have to see it.
Brandon, would you sacrifice this Gabumon to have the other 2 come off?
Yeah.
Just have more?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. I just don't get it.
The problem... okay, not the problem. The reason this card could come off is because you still can't make a competent purple base Melgood deck anymore.
Without Gabu X at 4?
Yeah. With no Gabu X, you do not have access to essentially an X antibody that is also purple. You'd have to either forego X antibody all entirely, or you'd have to run BT9, which is solid blue. And we don't have a level 4 X antibody that can Evo with purple, except for BT9. And we have the yes, Sean, we know he's at 1 for a reason.
You have 1.
Yeah.
Don't act like he doesn't exist.
It makes it to where you have to either play suboptimal blue cards or just forego them entirely, which it's your protection. So why would you want to get rid of it? And it's this conundrum of the blue base is just superior. It always will be. If
Gabu X goes back to 4, then you could definitely play purple then.
Yes. At that point you could. The big issue is you don't have anything for your bottom end because you'd have to mix colors. And if you're mixing colors, you can't play training cards. If you're mixing colors, you can't play Mem Boost cards.
You just have to rely on Matt.
You have to rely on Matt, or you have to rely on Cool Boy, or you have to rely on Starter Deck Matt.
Oh, I didn't even see this as a. I don't even see this Gabumon as a Melga card. I just.
I don't even see this.
It's a good generic purple card.
I don't even see this seeing play.
I would agree.
Honestly.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I was actually, even with that one, I was considering putting this in my Lugamon deck because I was trying to find a ninth rookie.
I was running the starter deck Gabu.
And then I was like, rather than running this, I'd rather just run the starter deck because I promote again in memory.
Yep.
And I'm only gonna ever need to win attacking once.
Yep.
I could technically do it twice with Takumi Kazuchi, but at that point it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're
That's
dead
what I was
already.
running in Luga back in BT14.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did play the starter deck Gabu in BT14 Luga.
Yep, because you promoted, you got a memory, which was almost not the same, but it was almost like that same memory gain you got from the BT14 Luga.
Yeah.
If you already had an AG on board.
Yeah, that was back before you had 8 Lugamons as well.
Yep.
This will be really good in Titamon decks.
Okay. You were the only person who's thinking about that. Nobody else having.
This would be really good in this deck that has never existed outside of BT6.
I mean, there's some stands who like. It doesn't have to be competitive. It just I make my tier 3 deck a little bit better.
They're the same people that think Eosmon is good. Yeah, I know.
I know, but if you like playing Eosmon and you get Eosmon support, you're gonna be happy. You don't care that you can't take it to an event. You just want to play it for fun.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, this card's just good.
It's
really good.
It's a generically good card. I built a purple Melga deck in BT5 that played 4 of this. That's the only time I think I've ever had this on a deck, though.
I'm thinking honestly, they print that inheritable effect on a purple Tama. Purple. That's gonna be the new best Tama in the game, or in purple.
Well, yeah, that would be a massive issue. That would be like, what's the blue one that gives you jamming? Buko. Like it would be an. Huh?
I was gonna say, y'all think BT14 Koromon was close to getting hit because it's just the best red Tama?
I don't think so. I think I saw someone say that in like one of their groups.
You did. You had one guy post on there. My uncle works for Bandai, and he said this card's getting hit. And it was the BT14 Koromon.
Oh well, that was a joke post.
Yeah, I know, but
some of the people in the comments did not understand the joke.
I saw the image. I was like, it kind of makes sense though when you think about it.
Oh my god, Ben, this is like you reading TK and being like, yeah, I can understand that.
Yes, we can all understand the TK.
Not for the last sentence. If you ignore that last sentence, it makes sense.
Well, the last sentence is what made me the most angry.
I said if you ignore the last sentence, every other thing is super relevant for that card.
So stupid. They could say that about a lot of things that
I picked up the deck and I was like, this cannot. Because when I first played the deck, I was like, I'm playing this deck with the expectations like I'm never gonna. This deck is eventually something's gonna get hit. Even before Magna X, I was like,
and you assumed it was probably gonna be Emissary. Like most people.
I did not think it was Emissary. I didn't even think Emissary was that necessary.
Okay, Mr. 3 to 4 copies of Emissary in every iteration of vaccine he's ever built.
Emissary
I just like feeding.
Yeah. Emissary is always going to be a blind search unless you have the TK to just put something in there that you want.
I hope I can come up with a list that still functions about the same and win an event with it.
Paramount might just be good even if we don't hit now, because you can just be like, let me look at my security. Okay, that's what's in there. So now I have knowledge of the unknown area.
It's always a massive advantage. That was one of my favorite things about BT1 TK back before we got this engine.
Yeah, I will say it is crazy.
Go ahead, man. I was gonna say sometimes I had a target and chose not to digivolve just so I can set up future plays.
I've literally never done that.
Don said dopamine.
Yeah, there's a target. We Evo him, boys.
I will say it is absolutely crazy the way that they have made security for yellow vaccine just a second hand. Like, imagine if blue had access to a second hand and its security.
They don't need a second hand. They draw a billion cards.
It's called your deck.
Yeah, their deck is their second hand. Shut up, Chris, you filthy blue player.
Or purple or black. Like, imagine
purple second hand is their trash. You're making bad points.
Okay, so red, green, and black. Red, green, and black all could use access to a second hand.
Two of those are arguably the worst color in the history of the game.
Red and black are starting to steal purple's thing and using the trash as their second hand as well.
True. They're giving them like half purple cards. They're giving red half purple cards and black half purple cards.
Red
and green
been using
sometimes.
the trash since BT7.
Yeah. Yellow's only thing that would make sense in the color would be using their security as their second hand.
Chris, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like green has it terrible because they have nothing.
Well, green and black are like historically the worst colors in the game.
I guess bunnies has purple, which gives them trash.
True.
But every other green, they don't draw very much, and they have the limited hand.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
and their level 6 cost a billion memory because HPD still exists.
Yeah.
Can't even get their Argo and Blossom on back.
You'll never get those cards back, my dude.
I forgot to do this yesterday, so I'm going to do it now.
Okay.
Can we please gang up on Chris again and tell him Cross 4 is bad and should not be able to come back?
Well, Cross 4 is broken and bad for the game.
He started up on that again while we were driving to TBS yesterday.
Yeah, Cross 4 is not coming back, not even if there's a fire.
Y'all can say what you want.
You're getting another Cross 4 that's not as broken.
Yeah.
But
it's not broken at all.
Have y'all done y'all haven't done the reveals yet, so we'll look at it.
Not yet.
Probably. If we haven't gone already way too long.
Well, I mean, I'm not in a rush. It's up to you guys.
Hour and a half-ish. It's not bad.
Let's see. Any other thoughts on...
Hour and a half for considering how little we've gone there is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weekly reels always take like 20-30 minutes, though. It's nothing bad.
Lots of tangents, like Brandon trying to give us his whole ass deck profile halfway through the ban list.
Nope, no more thoughts on the ban list. Should have brought Greymon X back at least.
No thoughts, only Grey X.
Yep, just Grey X could have come back. I don't care. Blossomon should have come back too. Give me at least those two.
I don't think you're getting your free level 5s back ever. Like literally ever.
I get the Argo. Sure, has an inheritable. I get to play a free level 3.
The inheritable is not the problem, dude.
You have 2 free level 5s right now.
Yeah. 3 if you count HPD.
Green is nowhere in the format. Okay, they need something
that way.
It's really just because they have.
When green is the top deck in the format, it's almost always the most degenerate, like tier 1 deck around.
It's never been the top deck in the format.
Why aren't people playing Bloom? It's because it loses the floodgates.
It loses to Crimson Blaze really hard. Loses to Pillamon and the like. Loses to Death X really hard. What else just dunks on Bloom right now? Ruin Mode dunks on Bloom.
Aces.
Because they can't out your stuff until they trigger their
body. They're not outing it.
Yeah, they don't out your stuff until end of turn with the Hydramon.
Yep.
Hydrussy.
And by then your board is gone because you've aced them. So.
Yeah, green has literally never been best deck in format.
It's been like back in the day with like Sarismon. Like when Sarismon had access to this is not for us.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Got hit preemptively.
The original ban list was because green was tier 0. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Saris with 4 HPD, and then they said, let's never do that again. And kind of the same thing happened with Alphamon.
4 HPD would be crazy now.
4 HPD.
Everybody's green cheats.
Yeah, 4 HPD combined with the fact that you use your opponent's stuff to Digizorb your stuff. So you suspend their stuff to Evo into your stuff for free. And you're like, swing over your suspended stuff, idiot. Aces aren't coming out for like 3 years.
Yeah. And then they did the same thing with Black, with Alphamon. And then they thought, never again.
That was a massive mistake as well. The way they designed it.
I feel like Blue is also cringing on green. Because Blue does green better than green.
Yeah, because Blue has a better stun than green.
I told Chris last night, I said HPD, the best decks that have ever played HPD are all blue.
They're all called Imperial.
Yeah, it's literally just versions of Imperial.
I just think it's crazy that for black to be somewhat decent right now, it's got to be half of the other color, purple.
It's got to be something else halved.
Until they figure out something that like is actually really strong and proactive, that would make sense in the color black.
It's probably because black doesn't have very many deck identities. It's like Diaboromon, Alphamon. What else? Justimon.
Justimon. Yeah, we'll get to that with card reveals. I heard a lot of people are pissed. I haven't read any of it, but
not as upset as I am. So let's talk about the new Galaxy Loop.
Oh yeah.
So it's already been
stupid. What else? What else do we have to talk about? Stupid and degenerate.
Well, let's explain it for people who don't know what it is.
So there's already a new loop that's been discovered using the Galaxy engine and BT11 Mirage, which is still at 4. Thanks, Bandai. Basically, it lets you skip your opponent's turn using the 3-cost tamer that's been choice restricted, but it hasn't been choice restricted with any of these cards yet. And you have a BT11 Mirage on the field, and you loop the new Galgamon from BT16, I think.
That forces both players to draw a card.
Force both players draw cards at the beginning of your opponent's turn. BT11 Mirage triggers, gains memory. They don't even hit their draw phase or their unsuspend phase. They skip all their phases besides beginning of turn, which isn't technically a phase. Basically, it lets you do to your opponent what happened with me and Mel when I was playing Blue Hybrid with BT11 Mirage as my top end. And he made the mistake of
having to set anything up.
Yeah, he made the mistake of playing 2 BT...
whatever they are.
I forget which Palmon it is, but it's the one that started turn...
it's 12.
Yeah, started turn draw card. No, it's BT11, because it comes in holo, even though it's a common, yeah. Started turn, you draw a card. He had 2 of those out, and I had a Mirage on the field. And it literally I just decked him out, because I just could pass turn. Oh, it's my turn again. Pass turn, it's my turn again. It's that same concept, except for your opponent doesn't do it to themselves, you do it to them.
Listen, they're just going to choice restrict it and add Mirage to the list of cards that can't be used with the Tamer. That's all that's going to happen.
For further clarity, because Sean didn't explain exactly how it worked, he just said, like, the concept. You basically hard play the Lunamon, and you have the Tamer Homer Yoshida.
Homer Simpson, you said it right earlier.
You basically play the 3-cost Homer that nobody's ever played, and when you play I think when you play a blue body, you could tuck a level 5 or lower underneath it. And you tuck the Galmon.
Galga.
And so when your opponent's turn starts, you can play a same level from underneath one of your Light Fangs or Night Fangs. So you get to play out the Galmon.
Galga.
It's Gal. It's the rookie.
Yeah, it's the level 3.
I thought they were recycling the level 4.
No, the level 3 is what lets you...
It's level 3.
The level 4 is not an on-play?
No, I'm pretty sure that one's a win to draw.
No, it's level 3, because you play the level 3, you force opponents to draw. And then because of the Tamer effect, it goes back to your hand, and then your turn starts. And when your turn starts, you say, effect Lunamon bounce itself back to my hand. So it resets, so you can do it again.
Yep.
So you have both of the cards in your hand, you just hard play it, then tuck it again.
Yeah.
And then you can do that infinitely.
You just set up in Lamau.
And you just make more Mirages, and you make more, and then I think some people have the finisher with Ancient Garurumon, because you just play you Digivolve with Ancient Garurumon.
That makes sense, because you're going to end up with like 10 memory by the time you want to kill them.
Yeah.
So you can literally kill them without checking the security.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just keep bouncing their security back to their hand with the Mirage and Ancient Garu.
Oh, true. Yeah, you can just you can just hard play the Ancient once you start going to 10, and you just steal turn and you just keep hard playing it.
Yeah, it's pretty degenerate. I think this is why a lot of people wanted Mirage, specifically BT11, to be hit, because it doesn't really do anything to help their OTK except add the security to their hand. Like, their level 5 is what unsuspends them. Their burst mode is what is usually killing you. This card is just an objectively, pretty disgusting floodgate, where the moment you even draw an extra card, add a card or anything of that nature, you're losing memory. I think that's the issue. Because only that, it's a memory engine during your turn as well.
It kind of pays for itself immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's removal, floodgate, and just extra memory on your turn. Like I said earlier, like anytime I've been OTK'd by a Mirage player, they're at like 10 memory when they do it.
Yeah.
It's a 4-cost Digimon that usually is like a 2-cost Evo.
2. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's negative because like if they training into it, training into it, bounce to security. Oh, it's still my turn. I just gained memory off of it. Sounds like it prolongs the game and should go to 1.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where the longer this card exists, the more people are going to find a way to break it. Like, it took until Susanoo was printed for Mega Digimon Fusion to need to be banned. But it was already being abused before that in Lilith Loop.
Yeah, it was poorly designed, just like I think BT11 Mirage is probably poorly designed, where it's just too good. It has too many effects.
If it wasn't all turns, I think it would be a little more fair.
Yeah.
Because then you couldn't steal turn in this fashion. But, like, during your turn, if you were able to play a Gal, make them draw, and then gain memory, I think that's still broken, but it's not game-breaking.
For the time being, though, before we forget about the Galaxy engine, I think they printed that card way too generic for the Galaxy card.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
they keep making that mistake.
I think that EX4 was like it has some issues in EX4. I feel like.
Do you mean
EX5?
5? I think you mean EX5.
EX4 is alternate being.
Yeah, EX5 is where the Galaxy cards came out.
I think it is EX5. I think.
Yeah.
I think that. Well, probably not that, but that whole concept of a deck had some liberties to it.
Yeah, because both Tamers are super generic.
Yeah, look how many cards in EX5 are problematic.
Anubis.
Like we got Garu X. We got Anubis.
Gabu X.
No, shut up. Stop it.
I'm just saying it's on the list. I'm just saying it's on the ban list. I agree. I think it should come on.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, that statement was right. EX5 was kind of broken.
Yeah, whoever's in charge of designing cards for that set goofed.
Yeah. Because, like, how many of those archetype-specific cards are not archetype-specific cards?
But Anubis is an archetype.
Yeah, Anubis is just purple. Hey, figure out what you can do with this purple good stuff card.
Yeah, it was
you can kill people? Oh, okay, that seems fair.
Like, if they would have limited it to, like, it can only play this trait, or something like that.
You didn't even have to do that.
Just take away the main.
Just don't give it. Just get the word main.
Yeah. The main was the problem. And Leviamon and the option, which are both really, really good. They're just not quite good enough to.
They've had to change the role because of Leviamon.
It wasn't because of Leviamon. It was because of
the Numa.
It was because of a ping pong thing from like
with Monze.
It was like an Edamon card.
Okay, it was one of them.
It was an infinite interaction, but it didn't actually do anything. And their solution to that was foolish, and they fixed it. Yeah.
It was something to do with Sukamon, right? Because Sukamon would die, but it can protect itself.
Yeah, it was 2 Sukamons that could die, or they could protect themselves by deleting the other. So you could just keep doing that interaction over and over, even though it doesn't accomplish anything. And they were like, we need to fix this. Make that once per turn. Or once per interaction. Also, I forgot we need to go over the rules changes as well. My bad.
I mean, I think we've gone over most of them prior, but yeah, getting it all together in one would make sense.
Yeah,
but I think the only solution to the Galaxy issue is you ban the 3-cost.
I think you
tamer and then print a new promo to be more in archetype.
I think you limit Mirage. I think that was a card that that was one of the cards I was annoyed that wasn't hit. That
just need to be hit by its own merit.
Yeah.
Not because of this.
Yeah, but it's another example of why that card needs to go.
Yeah. In further health of the card game, hitting or banning that 3-cost tamer would be wise.
Yes.
Just because it's going to limit card design later, where something else could come up and do something similar.
It's gonna keep popping up because it's gonna be like, oh, we can use this with this.
Yeah, it's just a poorly designed card.
It's so funny too, because like the whole Grace Nova deck isn't even all that great.
The engine is really strong. The Grace Nova is just like okay. Yeah.
All it needed was reboot.
If it had reboot, it would be better, but it's still just like it doesn't win the game for you when you do it.
It's a less impactful Magna X.
Kind of, yeah.
Because you're usually not like killing it.
Like Alter S is a better top end than Grace Nova.
Oh, I 100% agree. Alter S is great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this yet. When I saw the update, I was like, oh, do I go back and I look at the manual? I looked at the manual with like the bullet points. I was like, huh?
Yeah, you asked me about it, and I was like, I'll explain it when I talk to you because it's too much.
Did I not send this to the Discord?
All right. So new rule changes. These have already been in effect for Japan. Besides, I think maybe Quantumon. But everything else is already in effect. We were just waiting for it to be in effect for English. I don't know why they were waiting, but now these rules will be in effect for us on August 31st when the ban list goes into effect. Very cool. So revision to Quantumon's card information. Basically, I'm going to TLDR this. The way Quantumon was worded is if you declare Digimon and you hit, it would be unaffected by all Digimon effects, including itself, which would include its inheritables. So it would shut off its inheritables for the turn. They basically were just like, hey, that's not how we intended for this card to work. It will be other than itself. So it's basically how you would have thought it worked anyway, and it's just immune to everything else besides itself. So it would still have its inheritables. Funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it was kind of funny how it was immune to your own effects as well. Like you couldn't touch it with like your own Digisorptions and stuff like that, right?
Well, it's just for your opponent's turn. It would only affect you on your opponent's turn, or would only unaffect you on your opponent's turn. But like if you had inheritables that benefited you on your opponent's turn, they literally would be shut off.
They wouldn't be there.
Yeah. Funny. Hilarious. I didn't realize that I've only ever played against this card like a couple of times. I didn't even realize that's how it was worded because I've only read it like once. That is kind of funny. But yeah, they fixed that. It'll probably be fixed in the rewording whenever we get the reprinting of this card. I think we should get it in December if I'm not mistaken, but oh well.
Who's Thundermon?
Apparently a card from BT8. I've never heard of him.
I will look it up while we do this.
I don't remember that card. It must suck.
It's like a little Mamemon card, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's right.
So
you're right.
Basically, because of the way some of these cards were worded, where it's like the name of this card, Digimon, is also treated as whatever. Then they introduced rule text boxes. These are just going to be one and the same. So cards that were printed before they decided to rule, treated as whatever, it's going to be considered as a rule box now.
Yeah. So Ben, this is what it is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, that's why it's black. Okay.
He's literally a vanilla, and just has the text. This card is treated as Mamemon.
That makes sense. As why I would not remember that card existing.
You know that reminds me of? What was that? Cyber Harpy lady, where it was basically
it was a
vanilla, but it had to be an effect monster to say, "Hey, I'm treated as Harpy lady."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I honestly thought this was how it would work in the first place. I thought that was like a game rule, but they're just making that official.
It's kind of like problem solving text.
Yeah.
Because I know Garamon was one of the examples they use. Garamon, you could not Evo Numa X in the raising area.
Yeah.
But with this new rule change, you can go from Gara to Numa X in the raising.
I thought that was interesting. But it makes sense because like it's not a rule on the card officially. So like in the breeding area, you would ignore all that, and because it's not a rule text box, it wouldn't actually be Numemon. Regarding you can include up to whatever in your deck. They revised this
Just add rule at the top.
Huh?
They just added rule at the very front of the text.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was like, what's the difference? Because I like skipped over that and I was like, is this the same sentence? Yeah, this is just them cleaning stuff up, I guess. It's just like Ben said, problem solving card text. This is how these worked. It doesn't change how they work.
It's basic quality of life.
Yeah. Just making it easier to understand.
This is the Garamon example.
Yeah, regarding ruling changes due to changes to rule. Brandon already alluded to this. This was an interesting thing that I didn't even realize that's how it would work, because I've always interpreted the card text on those cards as a rule, but it would make sense prior to this announcement that it actually wouldn't work in the breeding area. But
that means I probably cheated with bunnies before, because I probably used Terriermon Assistant as Terriermon in Digimon for 3.
Yeah, I may have. I doubt I could have. I may have cheated with Nume playtesting, and I could see myself evoing Garamon in the Nume X and raising, but I don't know if I 100% would have done that or not, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Another 2 cards potentially we could have cheated with was Sagittarius and Alterous Mode, the promos, because they are name treated as Weregaru and Metal Gray.
Damn, I definitely did.
That would have ever come up.
In my Ragna OTK list, I definitely have stacked Alterous Modes in my breeding area before to just to dig into my deck.
So you're a big filthy cheater.
Dirty, filthy cheater.
It me. Okay.
Yeah, you have to click on it for some reason.
I was like, that's not all of them. I was like, I know for a fact we're missing some. So they have now named the main area of the game the field. This includes the breeding area, but the breeding area still ignores all effects besides things that specifically say they work in the breeding area. They're just making it to where like there's an official name for everything. So overflow rule change. So it's kind of hard to explain this one. I'll just read this word for word. I can't really think of a way to TLDR this. The rule for overflow has been changed from as this card would move from the battle area or from under a card to another area, lose X memory, to as this card would move from the field or from under a card to another area, lose X memory. In the previous version,
I was gonna say a good TLDR is Drazel.
Can we finish reading? I haven't read this yet.
In the previous version of the rule, the behavior of a card with overflow in the breeding area varied depending on whether or not it had cards under it, causing confusion among many players. This change will modify the behavior of a card with overflow in the breeding area as follows. Before rule change, when a Digimon with overflow in the breeding area is trashed, it is moved from the breeding area to the trash, therefore overflow isn't processed. When a Digivolution card with overflow in the breeding area is trash, it is moved from under a card to the trash, therefore overflow is processed. So before the rule change, if it was at the top, it would not trigger overflow. If it was at the bottom, it would. If that makes sense. After rule change, when a Digimon with overflow in the breeding area is trashed, it is moved from the field to the trash, therefore overflow is processed, and then it works the same as the other one. So basically, anytime you trash a overflow card from your breeding area now, no matter how it's in the stack, it will always trigger overflow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Ben?
Couldn't this have come up in like maybe like a Deva deck or the the Drazel deck?
The only time I could think of this coming up would be Royal Knights, and then if you're playing Big Ukamon with aces and somehow you have one in your breeding area and want to trash it.
Could you go back to the explanation at the very beginning? Does this apply to Magidramon for the new Magidra Ace?
If you're talking about his interruptive effect, he would not trigger overflow, if that's what you're asking.
Because he is interruptive.
Yeah, he interrupts, and then you don't actually leave the battle area.
But this will work for Royal Knights. Say you took a Omnimon, and then you say Drazel effect, trash everything, and then play. Do you trash everything first? Or
no, you play everything and then trash the rest. So it would only trigger overflow if you left the Ace Omni in your stack like a potato, assuming you're even playing the Ace Omni in the deck.
Or have multiple Ace Omnis.
Yeah, if you have multiple Ace Omnis, you're bad, and you shouldn't have stacked your Drazel like that. But yeah. Do you have any other questions, Ben?
Makes sense.
Okay.
I think it makes sense.
It does. I think these little blocks right here are the TLDRs, and these actually make more sense than all of these words.
I agree.
Basically, there was a way to get around it if you trashed from your breeding area, but now there isn't. If you trash an ace from your breeding area, no matter where it's at in the stack, it will trigger overflow. Well, I should use correct wording. Overflow doesn't actually trigger, it just happens immediately. The rule change will also apply to overflow on cards already owned by players. Replacement cards won't be made for this rule change. We apologize for the inconvenience. Yeah, whatever.
So that means they're reprinting all the cards that say overflow?
That means they're not reprinting them. That's what that said. They were like, by the way, in case you were wondering, no.
No.
Oh, we apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not
gonna errata pack like the 30 aces we printed prior to this rule change.
Some of these are expensive, and we don't want to just make cheap copies of them.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly wouldn't want them to waste. I would rather them print something else than an errata pack with Ace Overflow, because most people don't even read that text.
Yep.
All right, simultaneous triggering with rule checks. So this is what you asked about, Ben. I will give you.
I don't think I asked about this.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Robbie asked about it last night, and I was like, I explained it with the example they used here, but he was still confused. And at that point, I was like, it's honestly probably never going to come up for you. It's really niche interactions. So I wouldn't worry about it. If it does come up, then I'll explain it to you in that situation. So basically, I'll just use the example they have here. TLDR. Currently, before this rule change goes into effect, if you flame Hell Scythe and minus 6k on one of your opponent's Digimon, and then play back one of your Digimon that has an on-play effect, if that Digimon has 0 DP after Flame Hell Scythe is done activating, the rules processing would check at the same time that your on-play would be triggering, and rules processing would cause that Digimon to be deleted. If that Digimon had an on-deletion, it would then be the most recent thing to trigger, so it would actually activate first, even though your turn player with a pending on-play. So their on-deletion would happen, whatever needed to happen would happen, and then your on-play would trigger after that and activate, or it would activate.
It's basically like you played your Digimon before his Digimon died.
Yeah, effectively that's what it would be like. But now with the rules changing for this, rules processing is a simultaneous thing. So you would drop their guy to 0 DP, your guy would come back, and then you'd have an on play, and then their guy would die, would have an on deletion immediately. So there wouldn't be it wouldn't happen after the fact. So it would be on play, on deletion, simultaneous triggers. Whoever's turn player has turn player prio. So if you're turn player with the on play, your on play would activate, and then their on deletion would get a chance to activate after. This will not come up in most players' games, obviously unless you're playing like a yellow deck, but even then, it would have to be specifically yellow versus purple most of the time with the on-deletion effects, and even then, it's probably not going to come up most of the time in matches.
I've had these situations come up quite a few times.
Me and you have had this come up because I play yellow a lot and you play purple a lot. And we've messaged DCGO about it because we were like, this isn't how this works. And they were like, but it is how it works in Japan. This was like 4 months ago. And we were like, okay. It's not how it works now, though.
I guess.
Yeah, they're like, it'll eventually work like this for us. We're not fixing it. That's basically what we got. But yeah, it's for most casual players, this is not going to affect anything. A lot of people wouldn't even understand how this would work in the first place.
I think, isn't this also going to be the same for interruptive style effects? So say, example, I have a Soul Lugamon with the Tamer, the BT17 Soul Lugamon, I think is this, and I have a Tamer, and I have a Halugamon.
Mm-hmm.
My Halugamon dies. I draw. And I trash. I gotta think about this. This is really specific.
Come back to him.
I draw and I'll trash 3 cards to kill here. Let's say I'm playing against Omni with the trap card.
Yeah.
With the miraculous mega warrior knight.
Yeah.
I'm attempting to delete your whatchamacallit. your interruptive effects. You play the Omnimon. What is the timing on my inheritable to Digivolve my Digimon versus your own play?
Your soul effect?
Yeah.
Let me think about this. So that's on deletion.
Because is your own play newer than my inheritable? Seeing cars getting trashed.
In that situation, that's not helping. That's not helping, Christopher.
Oh.
I think under the old rules, your Omni will go first because it was new. It was technically newer.
This doesn't. The only thing this changes is DP minus rules processing. This wouldn't actually change this interaction that you're talking about. So how this would work is, so both of those trigger at the same time. You would do that. My guy comes out. Omnimon would be newest trigger. As far as how
I think I've read this on like somewhere where
you're thinking
the specific interaction in like the judge Discord.
You're thinking of Damien commenting whenever we on our gameplay.
I literally went to judge Discord and read this interaction.
Okay, well, in my interpretation, Omnimon is the newest trigger.
Because I think under the old rules,
this doesn't impact this. This is just DP minus rules processing. This doesn't change that. This doesn't change that. What you're thinking of is Damien commented because you Tamagotchi'd my stack, and that's DP.
I've also read this
and that's DP minus. Let me get it out. And that's DP minus. And in the new rules, there would be a simultaneous thing there, where my guy would be interruptive, come out, but it would be the same time as the rest of your effects, to where you could resolve your when digivolving or whatever before my Omnimon triggered.
So you're saying I do get my triggers before you get your triggers? Because you're saying the Omnimon's newer. Earlier.
It's two different scenarios, Ben. I was talking about the Tamagotchi 16 minus 16K. This rule change only affects DP minus rules processing.
Okay, so it's a different rule. So this is a different situation than this rule.
Yeah, what you're asking about, Omnimon's the newest trigger.
I think I'll trigger before you get the trigger.
I disagree with you. Damien, if you're watching this and have gotten to this moment, please let us know, because I think I am right.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Okay. Counter timing. I actually didn't realize this was how this worked. Thankfully, it's no longer how it works. In the previous version of the rules, a counter timing used the following procedure. The non-turn players, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, effects trigger, and the non-turn players counter effects trigger. However, in such situations, only when an opponent's Digimon attacks, effects would trigger at timings different from the timings shown on cards. This resulted in hindrances in gameplay and required players to know in advance that only when an opponent's Digimon attacks, effects would trigger at the different timings. This has now been changed so that when an opponent's Digimon attacks, effects will trigger simultaneously with effects such as attacking Digimons when attacking effects, and when an opponent's Digimon is suspended effects. The rules for counter effects will remain unchanged.
Is this the fact that people are aware there's two counter timings? There's like a counter timing where you get to respond to their attack, and then there's a counter timing where you can ace?
Yeah, basically. Basically, they made it to where the when Digimon attacks part is no longer part of counter timing, from my understanding.
Okay. Just so people don't get confused and say, I can ace now, and then I can do all these when your Digimon attacks.
Yeah. Which I guess this is just like a clarification thing, because it was never intended.
It was because before it was basically like counter timing 1, counter timing 2.
Yeah.
And then block timing.
Yeah, blocker timing. Text rules. I didn't actually even get to this part when I was reading through these. Effects with whatever in their text can now reference text written on cards, including names, traits, effects, inherited effects, rules, digivolution requirements, DNA digivolve, digicross requirements, and burst digivolve. In the previous version of the rules, this didn't include traits unless a trait was written in the text of an effect or rule, resulting in situations where it would be difficult to determine if a trait could be referenced or not. The rules have now been changed so that it will be easy to understand what text can be referenced. However, this doesn't include notes on cards.
I don't think this helps me because there's somebody asked me a question today. It was like, is aquatic treated as aqua? And I was like, does it say in one of its traits or in its traits on the text? And then you're also using the EX3 card, so you have to look up the errata to see if it was the correct text on the physical card.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't. The question. Long story short, I don't know.
Caleb came up to me and asked me about Zhangpengmon. I guess he must have asked you first. Zhangpeng does say in one of its traits. So yes, in that scenario, it would count. That's what it told him. Tokens. Changes have been made regarding the preparation of tokens. The rules for preparing tokens are as follows. Token cards can't be included in a deck or Digi-Egg deck. Okay. Token cards must be cards that can show their display format, unsuspended, suspended, so you can't use die anymore, people that forget they're on the field. When using token cards, you don't have to declare the effect to be used with the token in advance. The card information specified in effect doesn't have to be written on the token card. Even if card information is written on a token card, it is considered to be a card with card information given to it by an effect. Token cards can now be prepared even if your deck doesn't have any cards that use tokens. In addition, the rules for tokens used in the game have been changed as follows. The number of tokens is always public information. Tokens can't digivolve. Cards can't be placed under tokens. When a token is removed from the field, it is removed from the game instead of being placed in a different area. The rules stating that tokens can't digivolve and some other rules remain unchanged, but one change will be included. A token will be removed from the game when it leaves the field. When an effect such as BT12 or Digimon's Period Modes effect would be used to place a token under another Digimon Entertainer, the token is removed from the game instead.
It's kind of funny reading that because in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think a pro player got suspended because he said he was playing tokens and he had like display and he showed the tokens, but he wasn't actually using that specific token or tokens in his deck. So there was like, you were manipulating your opponent to think you were playing something that you were not. So you were cheating. But this is saying you can have tokens without actually.
That actually happened?
Tokens. Yeah, they I think they banned him because he was soft cheating.
Konami is so stupid. I've literally seen people back when I played where they would have a certain extra deck monster that wasn't in their deck, but it would tell you that they're playing a different archetype than they actually were, and they would just have their extra deck face up to where their opponent could see it, even though it wasn't public information, but they would just set it face up.
That's cheating because that's not public information. But it's a token, and you're like this element is a token. I'm playing them, and because it's a token, you can display it face up, or you have to like make sure your opponent's aware it's a token.
I think that's stupid that they banned him for that. That's pretty ridiculous. Thank God I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. This actually makes me, whenever we go to Digifest,
he didn't get like permanently banned, but he got like, I think
I'm sure they gave him like a 2-year ban or something stupid like that. Screw Konami. This makes me, whenever we go to Digifest, makes me want to bring Diaboromon tokens and just be like, these are my tokens.
They are here.
Yeah, and then they realize after I hatch and Digivolve that I'm not playing Dia. I think that would be fun.
Which is funny because you probably should have tokens because there's decks that give you tokens.
That is true, yeah. Mine will be all Diaboromon tokens. in case it manipulates my opponent into doing something less optimal, if they go first, game 1. Once I hatch, they'll be like, he's not playing black.
Because there's only certain decks that use tokens in Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you saw a token, you're like, oh, he's probably playing one of these decks, and so I'm going to play accordingly.
Yeah. There's quite a few from my memory. There's just cards.
It was basically mind games, and I think I saw like a Magic player react to that. It's like, but isn't that just normal? You're playing mind games with your opponent. You're not manipulating them.
To me, that's just gamesmanship. It's not like you're doing anything. I think it's pretty ridiculous.
I think the only reason why they did anything to him is because after he was doing like a deck profile, and he said, yeah, I played these tokens specifically because you can use any token. This is to make people think I'm playing this when they see it.
I've literally watched deck profiles from high level players back when I played, where he literally said, I have this card on top of my extra deck, so my opponent will attack into my face down monsters turn 1 as long as I don't do anything that would let them know exactly what I'm playing. He was playing Gravekeepers, and he had the Shining, and he would put the Shining on top of his extra deck, so people would think he was playing Heroes, and so he would set Spy, and they would attack into a Spy, thinking they just like bricked.
That technically is cheating though, because that's not public information. You're revealing public information that your opponent shouldn't have.
Yeah, but people, a lot of people routinely would sit their extra decks face up, so like that was kind of a normal thing. But yeah, I think that's a stupid thing. Good thing I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Unless I'm just misunderstanding the story, but I think if
I hope you are, but it wouldn't surprise me if that actually happened. It wouldn't be the first time they banned somebody based on comments they made in a deck profile. Comment questions. Lol, that's not the comments. My bad. There we go. Impact_entertainment. Comment question. Sup nerds, just wanted to thank you guys for answering my questions, even the wrestling ones, lol. And wanted to let you guys know this is one of the top things I look forward to listen to throughout my days. My question is more for Brandon on how to upload images on his Steam Deck for the DCGO. Thanks in advance. Thank you.
So I pulled up the questions actually prematurely to look at them, and I have been figuring that out now. That's what I've been doing over here while you guys talked. So what I did is, ever since they updated to BT, or was it EX?
EX6.
What was the last one? What was the last one that like came with the Zudomon and it was all busted?
BT16. It was BT16.
BT16 and then EX after that.
EX6.
They made it to where the images auto upload. So as long as you have it properly added to your Steam, because I still have this in desktop mode right now, you should just automatically get them. Like, I don't know if you can see my screen, but I'm actually in the process of making my Omni deck right now, and all I did was update it, so I didn't even have to add any images. So if you're on the Steam Deck, as long as you have it added to your Steam library correctly, you should just automatically get the images. Because it's pulling it from a secondary source now, instead of you having to download it manually, which was a pain.
Yes, it was a massive pain.
What set is... No. Sorry. I'm done.
24_Erez. What's the name of your locals? Maybe I could swing by, or if you guys get a store regional.
TBS Comics.
Yeah, TBX Comics in Pensacola, Florida. Adaptive reasoning. Sean gotta be mad today. He posted that yesterday. I responded and said, correct.
Yeah, correct.
I was very upset. I still am, and if I start to think about it, or if Ben justifies TK, every time Ben starts justifying TK, it makes me more mad.
I like TK.
Yeah, I think he's correct.
Shut up! You're trolling
Ben is
me.
Objectively correct.
Okay, obvious troll is obvious.
It's just obvious card advantage is obvious.
Shut up! Kill you from 5 security on turn 2 deck. French Toastus. Ancient Garurumon bounces security when a card is added to either player's hand, by the way, so keeping a clean board does nothing for you in that regard. Incorrect. The normal combo, unless you give them 10 memory, when they warp into Ancient, they don't actually draw any cards. They rely on you having something on the field, so they can bounce that to burn a security, or add your security to your hand. So keeping a clean board actually makes it much more awkward for them to bounce your security to the hand.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell how many times where I'm like, man, you have nothing on your board. My Ancient Garu does nothing from here.
Yeah. Because the normal combo, they draw 1 card, and that's before they go into their Ancient, and they don't draw any cards after that in their passing turn.
You could go Lobo Warp, and if you can keep turn off of that, you're good. If you have less than 7 cards in your hand.
Yeah, like I said, if you give them 5+ memory, they can do that.
I'm also playing blue, and like you guys have said, I draw a lot, so
yeah.
There are very few times.
Have you ever considered tucking 5 hybrids into your Koji from your hand?
Yeah.
Yo, you could do that.
That's never gonna happen.
Those BT17 cards all let you draw.
They do.
So you can tuck 5 of them. And then draw 5 cards.
That's actually a really good play, to be honest.
No, it's not.
It's with the way Chris draws. It is not.
He Digimons for 3. You tuck in like 5 inheritables that have draw a card. You swing. You're like, okay, my hand's empty. Draw a card. It's not anymore.
Ben, he's playing 9 level 4 hybrids. If he uses all of them to do that, he can no longer hybrid you.
He's out.
Yeah, but when this thing dies, you just
you get one back. You get one back.
Maybe blue base.
It's an option.
You were about to say it's a good play.
Having the option makes it a good play.
It's a good play.
I would normal summon Fluffo Bear and tribute it to add a polymerization for my trash.
Ben, build blue hybrid and then do that and see how it feels.
You don't do it all the time. You probably that one niche situation where you do it and you're just like, it's the right play.
I can't think of a situation where that would benefit you.
Say your opponent chokes you at the 3 and they have 1 security. Or say your opponent puts you at a 3, they have nothing on the board, and they have 1 security. You use his alternate effect to tuck in at least 1 inheritable that you draw a card. Then you swing at their face, and when you swing at their face, you draw a card. Therefore, you bounce their security, so you swing for game.
Yeah, I guess you could order the 1 attacking. Okay, fair point, Ben. Fair point. In that scenario,
correct.
You could order the 1 attacking so where you would actually draw after you Evo. You make a good point. I retract my statement. That's actually not it's valid. A good play. Yeah, that's a valid point.
Let's count hybrids, or is it just hybrids? So
it's hybrids.
So you gotta the problem is having 5 hybrids in your hand.
Yeah, the problem is it's not from your trash like the red deck.
Yeah, that's something you'd only do in the blue base.
Yeah.
Because you could even do something like Strabimon, where you could like gain a memory. No. Yeah. No, Strabimon, the one where you gain a memory. The new one has the on deletion.
Actually, what am I talking about? Chris, you play a lot more than 9 hybrids.
He plays 9 level 4s. His total
level 4. You could tuck the level 3s.
He wasn't playing level 3s before the ban list though. None of his level 3s were hybrids. I think in his current list, he's playing 9, 3, 12, 15 hybrids.
Yeah, because of Beowulf, Jet, and the 3 Flamons.
Yeah.
That's enough to potentially have 5 in your hand.
Not with the way Chris draws. You do make a good point. You can potentially lethal someone randomly like that, but the way Chris draws, I wouldn't expect him to have that in his hand.
It's always going to come back to Chris draws like booty cheeks.
With that deck in particular, yeah. Like watching back your gameplay with that deck, I'm just like, dude, if Chris opens up even half decent, he just wins this game easily. But he just doesn't draw the right card. He draws the wrong half of his deck. Johnny Stevens 259. I'd prefer for them to just choice restrict the Ukos. There's nothing wrong with 4 Ukos in a deck. The problem is when you have 8. Also, Cross 4 does not need to come back, but if it does, I'll happily dust off my Cross Art deck.
Did Cross Art win Worlds?
No.
I think it won I think it maybe top nationals after it got hit. Like that format, but what did win Worlds? I know that Black War X should have won.
Imperial, right?
Huh?
Was it Imperial?
I forgot. I just know Black War X misplayed to punt the game 3, and they lost.
Talking about the prior Worlds, right? Not the one that was most recent, but
yeah, it's 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, I guess.
Yeah, because this one was security control. So what was before that?
Did Setcon didn't win Worlds? I think you're thinking of Nats.
It was Setcon versus
Setcon won Worlds because he won in time. He won in time.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah. That's right. Anubis won our Nats, right? Anubis versus Setcon. Anubis came in first. That's right. Yeah. What was last year's? I know it was Black War X, and the guy forgot to trigger his Yuya, I think, and it cost him the match.
Oh, there's no worse feeling than that.
Imagine, dude, on the biggest stage possible for the card game you play, and you misplay, forget something that's so normal and instinctive.
Digimon Worlds 2022, first place Crossheart.
What? No, 2023, Ben.
I'm saying Crossheart won A Worlds. It won A Worlds.
I wonder if that was... I mean, I guess that would have been post-ban list, right? Because we got that ban list like 2 weeks after we got BT10.
That is with one shot cross 4. It had 3.
Yeah, and we want 4 cross 4s.
There you go, Chris. Can't come back. That means it was Black War X versus Crossheart, and Black War X somehow lost that matchup.
Unless
that was his fault.
I'm not looking at an official website. I'm looking at like somebody put out like a deck list that's titled World's First Place Crossheart. So I'm assuming they were right.
I don't remember the other matchup. I just know that it was Black War X and they should have won. I know Black War versus Cross is a joke if you just maximize your tamer removal. I remember the first 2 weeks of the BT10 format, I was eaten.
I forgot about Cross 7.
I forgot about the whole deck. Mox Moonstone. What do you mean hitting Cross 4 killed Cross? Cross literally top nats with Cross 4 to 1. Cross just loses OTK raising decks, and then new stuff came out.
The next comment.
Yeah.
The next comment, man. That's so funny.
Mox Moonstone. My ideal ban list is probably banned. HPD Balmon. Mirage Burst Mode. Restricted both Ukos. Louis. Promo Lobo. BT17 Lobo. Daviskin. Primo Generator. Nume X. Magna X. Paladin Mode Ace. Emissary. All 6 trainings. Unrestricted, Gabu X, BT2 Gabu, Greymon X, Blossomon. What?
Man wanted chaos training cards?
Yeah, all 6 Paladin Mode Ace, dude. I wasn't joking when I said limited last night.
Tell me you like playing cross decks without telling me you like playing cross decks.
I don't think...
If you want the trainings limited, they don't affect you.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Anything that's multicolor. For the most part.
And
that's
it doesn't
with cross decks. They're all multicolored except for blue player, but it's mostly blue.
Yeah, this guy's wild, and he did bring Blossomon back to 4 though, Chris. He just banned HPD for it.
That's fine. We'll take that.
That is an interesting dream ban list. Someone has gotten touched by Imperial multiple times.
This guy's been touched by every deck.
Yeah, he hit Davis and Kin, Paladin Mode Ace, and the Prima Generator option or whatever the hell it's called, all to 1. That would literally just kill him. You could not play Imperial. It's already bad enough seeing your pieces.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that guy's
a great ban. Let's just nuke the game.
Yeah, he took a hit from the Blicky right before he posted that comment. Still looking for... He also said it's totally crazy to move Geo to 4, while also... He said that unironically after also posting his ban list.
Did you hit Pata?
No. Hold on. So he said unrestricted Gabu X, but he also posted... Oh, okay, never mind. He said it could. I was going to say he posted another comment that said Gabu X is too generic, but it could come back.
How is it too generic? Because it grabs an X antibody?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Garu X is too generic. Gabu X is, I would say, not quite generic enough to where I could see it coming back.
Like, you could on-play it and search out, assuming you're not playing Gabumons other than him, you could search out multiple X antibody cards, and then you could trash a card.
Don't forget, even with the restrictions, Guru was an engine in purple.
Yeah.
That is true. I'm not reading any more of his comments. Arlantis. Broken deck gets weakened by hitting a card in a deck and becomes shit. Chris Logic. Deck sucks now and does nothing, so bring it back to 4. LOL.
Yep. More deck diversity.
Jace.
Yeah. I was going to say, you probably don't bring it back, you just print new stuff. Make it, bring the power level up.
That card was very poorly designed. J Stewart 0062. Okay, hear me out. What if, and mean if, they choice restrict Patamon and Magna X? This will let Yellow Vaccine still be playable till something else breaks it, and armors continue to be played without abusing Yellow.
Or we can just hit TK and Awakening.
I would have rather choice restricted Pata and Magna.
Choice restrict should literally only be a thing for game breaking things.
I 100% agree. I think it would be dumb, but I would have preferred they do that than hit TK.
I seriously think to answer this new loop, all they're going to do is choice restrict. They're not going to hit the Mirage, otherwise they would have put it on the ban list.
It's another example of why Mirage should get hit.
They're just going to choice restrict a bunch of these cards with this tamer. It is literally going to say choice restrict. It's going to be the
I think they're just going to ban that tamer. I think Ben's right. They're just going to ban that tamer.
And a bunch of cards.
They're going to have to continuously do this every time someone finds a new abuse for that card until they just have to ban the tamer.
You're just going to see the ban list. It's going to say choice restrict. It'll be this, and then it's going to be like 50 cards.
Choice restrict, this tamer can't put it in your deck. The choice restrict is if you play the Digimon card game, you can't play this tamer.
I mean, I can play it in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Kenan Crier's on the ban list, and that card is not good.
Yeah, hilarious. That card is on the ban list because the promo Zuba.
I thought with the promo Falcomon, the deck was going to be good, Ben.
Ooh.
I never said that.
I think you did. I think you were kidding, but you definitely said that.
I said the card was good for the deck. That's not saying the deck would be good. Remember how we talk about tier 3 decks can get something and make the deck more fun to play?
I don't think that was the sentiment whenever you were talking about it. I'm pretty sure you were talking about it being like tier 1.
I said Falcomon's good. It's really good for the deck. It lets you re-trigger your Rave more than once.
You know,
for the deck.
Defense, that's the same way we could say that the new Eosmon support is good for the deck.
Yeah, it is.
It's just not a good deck.
Yeah, it is good for the deck that sucks.
I literally said that like an hour ago.
Yeah. I am picking up what he is putting down.
Latitude 990. Cross players. Oh, sick, I got my 4-card combo. Pay 1 memory to draw 3 cards and swing with a 6k. Maybe do it 2 more times. Luga players. Oh, sick, I got my 3-card combo. Pay 3 memory to draw 3 cards, play a free champion, delete 3 Digimon, trash 2 security, swing the other 3 checks. Cross is so bad nowadays that there's no reason for them to even bring Cross 4 back because it wouldn't even bring the deck up to tier 3. Play the deck and you'll understand. The games where you draw Cross 4 early feel no different. Hopefully Bandai has a Cross Art player on their dev team so they don't waste a bunch of time on pointless decisions like this.
Y'all don't get it, okay? There's ace cards now. It has to survive the check. Like, there's so much that can counter Cross.
You can give it jamming. I'm fairly certain there's cross cards that give it jamming.
You do realize that Cross 3 is a really good replacement for it. The only downside is you don't untap your tamers.
Yeah, I don't untap my tamer. I don't draw 2 cards, so it's not as good.
You see the top 3 cards of your deck, and you pick 2. Is it top 4 cards of your deck and you pick 2? Or is it top 3 cards of your deck and you pick 2?
I don't read cards, dude. I don't like crosses and mechanics, so I don't really pay attention to those cards.
You guys don't get it. You guys won't get it.
No, you weren't getting.
Yeah, you won't get it.
Brandon, shut your dirty mouth when you can promote just a Gabumon and then literally clear security and kill me. I don't want to hear from you. And Ben, I don't want to hear from you when you can turn 2 Fenrir Lugamon someone, clear all their security and do it when you see your pieces. And Sean, I don't want to hear it when you can choke someone to 1 memory with a Magnavax on the board. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Because my deck caught 3 hits.
Right? Yeah. Okay, Ben's caught 0 and Sean's caught 2. Okay, we got 1 hit and it killed the deck. It hit 1 card, killed the deck. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, because it was poorly designed.
Yeah, it was 4. Now it's 3. So, but I'm still in the lead for deck with the most hits.
Are you still saying deck? Are you still saying that after it won Worlds, Chris?
That was how long ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah, but it hasn't had any support since then.
Has our card game not progressed enough to where
everything else got stronger? And guess what? You'd rather get a new wave support next year.
And guess what? It's not going to do anything. And guess, like I said, if it's still a problem, hit it again. Who cares? It's the point of the ban list. Just hit it again. If it becomes a problem, just hit it again. What is Cross doing? It's a dead archetype.
I hate that mentality.
Dead archetype.
Of hey, give it to them, and if it's a problem again, just take it away.
Are you familiar with the cross variants that do see play, playing the Merva to where you can just play back multiple Digimon back while also playing Blinding Ray and Grav Crush and just kill your opponent.
Yeah, just do it all.
Do you know how balanced that would be if you had Cross 4?
It'd be super balanced. I'd love it.
Yeah, incredibly balanced. Much balance, very dead.
Fair and balanced. I mean, we've got a loop
OTK.
combo that was just discovered. Fair and balanced.
I mean, yeah.
What is
D-Lacy...
that? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Mine wasn't important. I was just going to make a joke.
Go ahead, let's hear it. Let's see how funny it is.
Oh, I was going to say, what's that new thing going around TikTok, Chris? You'll know it. Very...
Demure?
Yeah, that. Whatever that is. Very demure.
It's a very interesting meme.
It's a stupid trend from something that was said so long ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
D-Lacy 1895. Gallantmon is not from the digital world. He is originally from the world of Witchelney. Wizardmon, Witchmon, Mistymon, Hexablaumon, and Zephagramon, who is implied to name a few, are all from there as well. TLDR, so evil things were going down a portal open, and some of them crossed over, one being Gallant. Nanimon is also from there, I believe, or is basically a Tamagotchi and was exiled because he was a drunk. I guess I don't have a question today. So now we know...
Thank you for giving us lore.
Yes, thank you for giving us the Gallantmon lore.
That was in response to... We were talking about why is Gallant a virus buster while being a virus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it was like one of those situations where we were talking about what came first, the chicken or the egg, the Gallant or the Gio.
Gio?
In this situation,
You mean
I think
Gil?
it's implied Gallant would have been first.
Yeah, he's talking about Gilmon.
I was like, what the hell is Gio? Gio Draymon?
Not everybody mispronunciates the level 3 and calls it Gilmon.
My Agumon evos into Gio Draymon for 2 memory.
That's not even spelled the same.
That is. You can pronounce G as J. Gio Draymon.
Honestly, that sounds good if you did it in a Japanese accent.
That would sound racist, though.
I was saying, Mugen Draymon doesn't sound good, but then you say Mugen Draymon, and you're like, I'm in.
Well, that's because you're saying it with a cool voice. I don't think it's because you're saying it with an accent.
I don't think you can say Mugen Draymon in an American accent and it sound cool.
Isn't it Dramon?
It is.
Machine Dramon sounds better. IMHO.
Yeah.
Reinforced Junior. I'm going to read this, but I disagree with it. Chris is actually on point with Cross 4. You have to attack with it and survive to get its effect. If they get choked to 1, they can play 1 Cross 4 and then pass turn after that. It gets destroyed by aces and blockers. Blockers? What format are you playing, my guy? Blockers aren't a thing.
Magna is literally a card that you play 4 of!
Well, they just kneecapped that deck, so that's not a thing.
It's still a blocker! What are you talking about?
Blockers aren't real, dude.
As somebody who plays high-speed plug-in, I agree. Blockers
Yeah, blockers, the real blockers are the friends we made along the way, because,
There is a literal deck going around right now that is seeing good results that pops Tamers.
It's kind of funny because they're printing more ace blockers.
That's
It's
what
really
I'm
funny because Japan's having a real bad time with a certain tamer that gives blocker.
I'm glad these people can see have sense, except for these stooges over here.
What? Where am I?
Ben, you're a stooge.
No, listen, Ben. Chris's logic is he doesn't agree with me, therefore he is illogical.
Why not help the metagame by bringing in and injecting more decks that are older decks that can come into the meta and maybe do something?
Chris,
Greymon should have come back. Greyx should have come back. We all agree with that.
Chris,
But would have brought War Greymon back. And Cross 4, why not? Cross decks aren't doing anything. Let's see what it does. If it's a problem,
Chris,
still just hit it.
We can test this theory. Build the deck with Cross 4 at 4, and let's see how it works.
Okay, are you going to get to use full power Magnavax?
No.
What are you going to play?
I don't know.
Black War with Grey Exit 4?
Yeah, I would do that.
That is something.
It's a tough matchup. Tough matchup.
Oh, so you're playing a Tamer deck, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright, this is what we do. We ignore the ban list, and everybody just has to bring one super omega broken deck to try and play.
Darasmon with HPD at 4.
I don't
do nothing.
That now.
You don't have a win condition, my guy. You would need to play like Imperial with HBD at 4.
Yeah.
Sarismon is too slow now.
Although we would have to specify maybe no Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Maybe we keep that one.
Put
him over there.
I would definitely want to.
The funny thing is, we never play Apocalypse.
It blows my mind that y'all are like, oh, we can't have this come back. It's too fat. It kills. Like,
yeah, it's too fast, too furious.
What? Like, we have that already, right?
They have gotten significantly more draw power and consistency fixing since that card was printed and then banned.
I'm not saying like if you give that to Kraushart is going to be like the best deck and beyond. I'm just saying it was good, and that's why I got hit. Just print new stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You don't need to give back the broken stuff that we've already had.
That deck was tier 0 in Japan before it got hit.
I agree. It was too strong for its time, and I think the game's leveled out now to where it would be strong, but not overpowered.
The reason why the reason why that card is strong was because it recycles all your pieces, and you got a tamer back, so you get to go again for another one.
You know what, guys?
The thing that's restricting Kraushart right now is the fact that you don't have enough resources if your Kraus survives. Yeah. So you don't get to tap your tamer again.
I think we need to give Chris a little more credit. All right, let's just go through and unban a bunch of cards to make other decks better. So, unlimit Wear promo. Melga's not doing anything right now.
No.
Unlimit Garu X.
To be fair,
Brandon is correct. Melga is not doing anything.
To be fair, Chris, that is
unlimit Gabu X.
To be fair, Chris,
here, right?
I'm asking for one card. You want 4. You can have 1.
Okay, give him prayer. Give him prayer. Wear
promo. Give me Wear promo at 4, and let's see how you like that.
I said give Alphamon back.
My uninteractive strategy would piss you off.
I said give Alphamon back Dorugamon. Give Alphamon back its.
That is the same. That is also awful. That is also an awful idea.
Why not? Alphamon's not doing anything.
They're like Syndrome over here. If everything's broken, nothing is.
Yes, you said that. You would rather everything be broken than just one thing be broken.
I 100% do not agree with that. I think that would be a very toxic format.
Chris is the most tilted person here, both physically and mentally. Like, has nobody else noticed?
The camera is tilted a little bit.
Oh, tilted, yeah. All day. Give us back Greymon.
When you said physically, I started looking at his background a little closer, and I was like, oh, he is tilted.
I'm gonna stay this way because they didn't give us back Greymon.
Yeah, give me Wear Garu, give me Garu X, give me Gabu X, give me Buka. Let's see how you love that.
Buka was degenerate.
Yeah.
Everything having jamming for no reason.
Much like
me jamming basically in every matchup ever because I play X antibody cards so I can make the biggest stack. Thanks.
Anyway. Unironically buffs Mirage again.
Yes.
Yep.
Even though Mirage doesn't need it because they have an archetype jamming now.
Now he has level 4, yeah.
It would also buff the
I guess
Gabu.
It means you don't have to play bad rookies and bad cards just to have jamming.
Play an archetype.
Yeah. Panzer K. Not a fan of the term gatekeeper applied to single decks. Let's be honest. What deck is gatekept by Magnex that would put up results against all the other tier 1 decks? None.
What was the third comment? Did the third comment give a deck that would work?
Do what?
Did the third comment under his reply actually give a good example?
Let's not read Adaptive Reasoning's reply to that, right?
I honestly think that there are decks that easily handle Nume, but they're kept out by Magnex. Remember, it's an ecosystem tug on one keystone card, and it can bring the whole house down in unforeseen ways. Yes, but he did not give an example.
Of a deck that could handle Numa, but Magna's keeping it out?
Yeah, what deck that could you name that also doesn't lose to everything else that's in tier 1? You can't.
Melga.
It's kind of a balance.
I think the new Omni deck could have decent results, but Magnamon is kind of holding it out.
I mean, yeah, it could bot deck all their stuff, especially if it's similar level, and then delete something.
I think
the problem is that deck is just a little more inconsistent.
Yeah, that deck's too clunky. You would lose to the other decks because they're quicker than you are.
That's what I'm thinking of, is like it's other matchups too. I'm like thinking like what else
you're putting Omni at a higher scale because you haven't beat it yet.
That is true from your perspective. It's better than it actually is.
I'm just thinking of like current decks right now. You know, I'm like, okay, there's like Omni, like what other
Imperial,
yeah.
The BT16 decks, like the Sylph, the
Well, I'm thinking like tier 1. You don't just be naming decks.
Oh, just don't name stuff. All right. I'm trying to think of what could be tier 1 if they didn't have an immovable wall in front of their face.
I don't think there is anything. All the tier 1 decks are tier 1 because they're good and they're better than everything else.
Yeah, they ignore it or they out it.
Yeah.
That's the problem with open thoughts like this. It's like it's hard to think of and nail down like an exact example.
Oh duh, Eosmon and
Pulsemon.
Pulsemon, Gallantmon.
Yeah. I think the issue with Magna X isn't that. It's because every other or most other like things that have like some kind of immunity lose the immunity after a turn, or have a window where you can interact with them. It's just that anytime most decks can interact with it, it's going to be on their turn, and on their turn they can't interact with it.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying with
would have a chance if Magna wasn't around, just because
Machinedramon has a good matchup into Magna.
Do what?
Machinedramon has a good matchup into Magna.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. Paladin mode existing now kind of poops on it, but prior to Paladin mode being printed, Machinedramon was actually a pretty rough matchup.
Just because it was like hard to hit the security, or like what?
They can redirect.
You can't out their Machinedramon. It's just going to sit there and stare. It's an immovable.
No, it's literally a immovable wall versus an immovable wall. It's just whoever decks out.
No, it's not who decks out. It's like, because they also have Tamer removal on top of it. Like, I think Machinedramon is actually like a good matchup in Magna X, assuming they open up well enough and you don't open up like the super nuts.
Like I was saying when Ben was talking about like the effect, like I think that's why Magna X is okay in the armor version, because it's harder to trigger its effect so consistently.
I think it was a poorly designed card that they shouldn't have printed in the first place.
Agreed.
I think if they didn't have the all turns effect, I think it probably would have been fine. But them giving that all turns effect for no reason, I think is
right. If it had just been during your turn,
or just when digivolving.
Yeah, just when digivolving. It's like them adding the word main onto Anubismon's effect. Like, it's just, why did you do this?
They could have given it all turns, but if they stopped at like unsuspend this Digimon and not give it the
trigger its when digivolving effect.
Yeah.
I agree. That would have been fine too.
I mean, a one-turn wall is way better to deal with than a permanent every-turn wall.
Because it's still a good Digimon even without retrigger as when digivolving, because it is a is
almost always a 15k armor body just swinging twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it could even gain the DP, just not the immunity. Like, they could have just given the all turns effect it could have just been unsuspend, gain 3k DP, and that's it.
What it could have been is it could have been one of those activate like so many of the following effects and then bullet point them, and then immunity would have been separate from that only when it first comes out.
Immunity would not have been on the menu. Yeah,
let's not make it. Or you talk about just not giving the immunity in the first place, or you
give it the immunity when it first comes out,
and then
have
all turns
the secondary
effects.
part be like every time a card is removed from security, activate one of these effects, and it's like plus 3000 DP, unsuspend this Digimon, like a bullet point instead. Where the when digivolving is if you have armor form, gain immunity until the end of your opponent's turn, and then after that the remove security effect is bullet points, activate one of the following effects. It would be like plus DP, unsuspend, stuff like that. That way the immunity is only for your turn and your opponent's turn. Can't be reactivated again, but you can still unsuspend and you can still make him really big. Oh, and blocker, of course. He still has blocker and armor purge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that much text on the card.
I think I would just like it if the all turns was what we said a little bit ago, which is everything the Wind Digivolving effect is, except for no immunity. And I think the card would have been completely fine.
It wouldn't have forced a couple people in our locals to just up and run to Hearthstone. Not Hearthstone, Vanguard.
They were playing cope decks for several formats before they finally gave up. I don't think.
Yeah, when it was BT15, BT16, and they're still playing like BT12 decks.
I mean, you play what you want to play. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but don't play what you want to play and then complain about losing to meta decks. That there's a difference.
Yeah, don't. When you have something that's tier 1, it's like come on, you kind of know what you're walking into.
Robbie plays like Pulsemon and like Source Strip Blue at locals.
And he's so happy.
But he knows what he's doing and getting himself into. He's not like, I shouldn't be losing these meta decks. Like, he literally knows he's probably going to get raffle stomped by anything meta that he plays against, but he wants to play what he wants to play. I think there's a difference. Blind Owl 123. Technically, Gallantmon is the first Royal Knight, as Gallantmon was released in Digimon Tamers. Then they created the lore of the Royal Knights and retroactively made Alphamon, Omnimon, and Magnamon Royal Knights. It's similar to Pokemon and the Rhydon Mew Bulbasaur situation. How dare you mention Pokemon on this podcast? I'm just kidding. I also like Pokemon. Just thought I'd read that because it's information.
It is. It's more lore building.
Yes. A block of tofu. I hope you guys try and get Ben on more. He provides a more mellow voice of reason sort of angle. I agree. I'll try to get him on more often. My ban list hopes are both Uko's Monze X, Awakening the Gold Knight, Emissary of Hope, and BT12 XVmon to 1, HPD to 0. I'm really tempted to say BT11 Mirage to 1. They have 2 other Mirage they can use, but only 1 burst mode. BT11 Mirage being all turns is ridiculous. I could see Grandma X coming back to 4.
Well,
pretty solid.
I would have preferred your ban list over what actually happened.
Well, we know that.
Yeah. The BT12 XVmon hit doesn't affect the deck as much as you would want it to because they still have EX1 XVmon that gives them jamming.
I think we also need to, I was gonna say, I think we also need to remember that even though they've done it before, they're still trying not to hit for like supers and secrets.
That is true, yeah. Prior to Apoclymon and Anubis, they had never hit anything above a rare. I think Mega Fusion was the highest rarity card. I guess in Ice Wall is also a rare.
They've hit in promos, but other than promos, they've
what promo did they hit?
Where
Garu, that's right, yeah. You're right. Yeah. But
my boy.
Yeah, they don't like hurting their pockets, so they try their absolute best not to hit anything above a rare. So that's why Magna X wasn't on the chopping block, and they just hit cards around it.
Also, Padamon's a super.
Yeah, Padamon's also a super. TK is just a rare, despite there being an alt art, so that also explains that, although they could have hit Emissary.
Yeah, I think if it continues to be a problem, they'll hit more of the deck.
I think they should just limit Emissary to 1, limit Magna X to 1, and then give us BT14 TK back. So dumb.
Also, Anubis and Apocalypse were almost tier 0.
They were tier 0. I mean, I guess if they didn't exist at the same time, either one of them would have been tier 0. But like, it was you were playing one of those two decks, or you just lost.
I think the only deck that even close to competed,
Mirage, I think, was up there a little bit sometime.
Yeah, was Mirage, because you could just kill them before they saw their pieces.
It was literally who opened up better, and probably who won the die roll, honestly.
I think that is the closest we ever saw to a die roll wins a game in Digimon.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Ben let me go first game 2 last night. I was surprised by that, but I think he bricked so hard game 1, he just felt like he needed the extra card.
Change it up.
Yeah, I appreciated you letting me go first. I think it, because of how I opened it, auto cost you the game. JJR Beniz 07. I talked about it with Josh. Mirage maybe do another hit. If they were going to hit anything, the only fair impactful hit might have to be BT11 Mirage Galgamon. I like that he typed the whole thing out. There are 2 other Mirage Galgamon that aren't as... I know. You could have just said Mirage, though. We would have known. That aren't as good as the BT11, but can serve to replace it. The deck would lose a bounce and powerful floodgate, but it can still win through burst mode. I 100% agree with this because the BT4 Mirage would still gain the memory back on their turn when they digivolve into it, and that would be the end of it. On top of, I think it's actually, is it built in unblockable, or am I confused?
Unblockable.
Okay, yeah. So like, I think if they limited BT11 Mirage, the deck could still do what it needs to do to kill you, but it wouldn't be as disgustingly powerful as it currently is.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. Good point, Benjamin. Yo, that's a lot of words. I don't see any question marks, so I'm not going to read that.
Oh my god. I've never hit expand on that one.
I think this is the first time I've seen this. It says edited. I wonder how many revisions have gone on in this. Yeah, there are no questions. I'm sure that's a good point, but I don't want to read through it right now. House full of frogs. I think this is the Pulsemon and Eosmon Cope person, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Even if Magna isn't the most represented at tournaments, it's far from it. It's hard to argue that it hasn't had a massive effect on the meta by pushing every other deck to either go taller or faster than it, because there's very few other ways to deal with it. I would like to see them hit Awakening. Well, you got your wish. Also, I don't think Magna existing makes the other decks better. Those decks are just that good because they're that good. I don't think Magna existing impacts anything besides like people randomly playing high speed plug-in in certain decks that aren't even tier 1, and the level 5 that Mirage decided to play. Like that was specifically because Magnex, but everything else I don't think really impacts anything. This is
not the Pulsemon guy.
Oh, okay. I apologize, House Full of Frogs.
He's the one who tested out the Doorbrick OTK deck that we were like super surprised by. And he commented saying he tried it on the sim.
And didn't understand what was happening?
I mean, he said it was good.
Oh, okay. I thought I remember someone saying that like they played it and they were like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, literally. Avocado Loco. Nume X is the identity. It's all about floating all the poop floaters. Monza X is just overpowered. It does everything. 0 Evo ideally. It can get security +1 aggression. Good, very good removal until the end of opponent's turn and provides another body. And it's a yellow level 5 that can blast evolve into a lot of good level 6 aces. Monza X's power is like a level 6's power. If Nume didn't play level 6's, or if Monza X couldn't digivolve, then it'd be fine with it, but it's insane considering it's just the level 5. Unfort, my guy. Apparently that's a band I disagreed with you.
I think it's okay to let them still have their power play.
I agree. Like that's what I said.
As like the rest of the deck isn't as powerful now, with the bottom end being able to swarm you out so bad.
To be fair, most of the games I beat Numemon were the games where they didn't open. It took them a while to find their Numemon X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I could deal with the board.
It significantly limits.
I think the only round I won in that regional was the one where I was actually able to see my EX Melga and bot deck their Numas instead of deleting them.
Yeah, not having to deal with the float consistently does hurt the power of that deck significantly. While if you leave them with Monza X, it still gives them the ability to like do something to your board. Whereas I think
that might mean people can play stuff that's better against blue, since they don't have to worry about Numemon as much anymore.
That is true, although I think all the good against blue decks are just other blue decks. I think it's literally just going to be blue the format for the foreseeable future, unfortunately.
Me and Ben are dressed for the occasion.
Yellow decks are decent against blue.
Yeah, what yellow deck's going to be meta with a Magnavax taking a hit to the knee?
Angels, duh.
Yellow hybrid reinsurgence with Venusmon.
Ooh.
With your one jet.
What's the one I was digivolving to? You digivolve into like Magna, I guess.
Yeah, you can digivolve into the aces, but that costs 3 memory, and then you have to deal with the overflow.
Oh no, this is the worst.
I mean, yeah, it's significantly worse than evoing for 1 memory and not having to worry about overflow. And also, Magna has a cap on how many you can recover.
The problem to fix hybrid, to combat hybrid decks, more hybrid decks.
More of them.
I mean, I think they should bring Jet back to 4, but because they printed Ancient Garu as dual colors, I can understand why they won't. But they could have just made it pure blue and just give us Jet back to 4, but whatever. Thanks, Bandai. Shady Weather 7, which is Josh. And look at Ben slithering like a snake. He's watch out, watch out. Oh, a surprise podcast appearance out of nowhere. Yes. He also surprised us.
Yeah, Sean didn't even know what happened.
I
was the only one who was paying attention to the bottom.
I didn't hear or see him come in because I was talking, so like I didn't hear like the little sound effect. But I saw when he left because the number of screens, I saw that shrink, but I didn't see like who popped out.
Yeah.
Chris, are you good?
Yeah,
He's just lamenting over his cross 4.
Oh, okay. Chris, bring max or full power cross next Friday. Let's see how it plays.
I'll probably go
the
X2.
entire deck core just sitting there.
Oh yeah, the whole deck is built.
If I have ace control, I'll play you with ace control versus it. We can see how that matches up.
Yeah, I lose that matchup, like I said.
I think security control might actually make a comeback. That's actually a good thing you brought up because Magnavax isn't going to be popping.
That is true.
Because Magnavax just hard pooped on
Setcon
security control because they couldn't touch it.
Yeah, but the thing is the Magnamon version is still going to be a thing. Like, we're definitely going to see a lot of Magnamon variants. Okay. The old Dutch angle.
What is this?
Especially at the beginning of this now new format. It'll probably fall off once people realize it's still bad because you still like lose to aces and your promo Flame Dramon is no longer as good because Awakening's at 1. All right, dude, chill out. But yeah, we'll definitely see a resurgence with that variant, at least at the beginning, before people realize it's probably just cope.
Yeah. Yeah, just expect some sort of rise of Setcon again.
It's definitely it definitely helped boost security control indirectly by hurting the best variant that they kind of just laughed at it. Yeah.
I could just see a Setcon player just sitting here. Yes.
That is true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that from a security control player's perspective.
As soon as you said ace control, I would control.
Yeah, ace control's different, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these guys have bodies that you can swing with and interact with.
You can call it security control, you can call it ace control. I don't care. I was never embarrassed or shy about playing security control. I like control decks. It's like, I don't care. I don't feel bad or guilty about playing decks like that.
I wonder how the Omnimon matchup goes into that.
Feels like Chris played vicariously, experienced it vicariously through watching me get like touched for like hours.
He also watched you touch me though with your deck stuff because that deck is also disgusting. He was just watching 2 super disgusting decks play against each other and just do gross things.
That was the last comment.
Yeah, that was the last comment, by the way.
I mean, I did like how the comment right above it was Pulsemon continues to take L's. Please make an anti-Pulsemon club. Thank you, DECA 796. I don't want to even try to say that.
Before Pulsemon, it was Gamamon.
True. Pulsemon is the new Gamamon, yeah.
To be fair, I'm playing Pulsemon cards.
You're playing Pulsemon. Oh, I'm sorry. You are playing 2 cards that have Pulsemon in their text.
Three cards with Pulsemon in their text.
People forget Pulsemon was actually a good card.
Oh, because Finn says... Yeah. Finn just says Kazuchi, though, doesn't it?
Finn has Pulsemon in the text.
Yeah. Finraluga does say Pulsemon in text.
When you play it, I don't know where it says it in the text, but it says it in the text.
Hold on. Do I have one?
Like, there's been games where I've tried to hard play the Kazuchimon and let it stick, and then hard play Finn the next turn to, like,
Is that what you tried to do versus me?
I've tried to do that before. I was like, I'm bricked. I might as well try to like.
I was wondering what you were thinking when you gave me like 10 memory when you hard played that guy. But joke's on you, I just OTK'd you.
It's part of his all turns. His all turns says all turns once per turn when one of your Digimon or Tamers that has SOC trait or Pulsemon in the text is played. So there's the Pulsemon.
Okay. Yeah, you have 3 cards that mention Pulsemon in their text, but one of them is a complete brick, and the other one you just want to get in your trash so you can kill your opponent.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. But one of them is an unsearchable brick. Imagine we get Foolish Burial in this game. Imagine.
Oh my god. Imagine this game ever decides to just let you search your deck like that, like Yu-Gi-Oh style.
That's never gonna happen.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. But that would massively change the power level of the game. But I don't think that'll ever happen.
If they wanted to print the most Yu-Gi-Oh card ever,
yeah, I'd say that. Then it'd be like Eosmon, best deck in the format.
If they gave any deck the ability to do that, to like just search its deck as consistently,
play a Eosmon from your deck. That's this level or lower.
That'd be disgusting.
Once per turn.
Thankfully, it's locked. It's archetype locked in Eosmon, but that would still be really good.
What I could see them doing, of course, this is all theoretical. I don't actually see them doing this. Is instead of searching your deck, it's just reveal top cards of your deck until you reach X. That would be the closest you got, and then put it back in any order.
So it's magical merchant.
Yeah.
You notice we haven't seen very many Search 6s recently.
Yeah, there's only
they've been holding back on the Search 6.
There's like Dynasmon from BT6 does it. What other cards even Search 6? Oh, the blue flare option, right?
That blue flare option.
Yeah.
Broken.
Are those the only 2 cards? Yeah, I agree. That card's really good.
Yeah, and Blue Flare's about to get support too.
Fair and balanced.
That option is disgusting, and
maybe we side-eye that option.
I think if Blue Flare becomes S tier, tier 1, they will start looking at that option because it's like the best card in the deck.
Yeah.
Guess we're calling Blue balanced.
Blue. Blue is Bandai's favorite color, like for sure.
It costs 5 memory. Okay, relax.
Shut up. It plays you a Tamer for free, and you get to pop it and gain memory back the next turn.
So
and searches the top 6 cards.
2 pieces.
And add 2 pieces.
Yeah.
And then get 2 of the memory back.
Yeah, it's a 3 cost. It's a 3 cost.
You're getting a 4 cost Tamer 9 times out of 10.
Always, all times out of 10. Oh, I mean, unless you whiff, yeah, I guess.
Two pieces to your hand, and then 2 memory later. That's...
Yeah, it's effectively 3 memory to search the top 6 cards of your deck and play a 4-cost Tamer and then search 2 cards.
I haven't heard y'all say one negative thing yet.
I'm pretty sure the only way that card isn't
you bottom deck the cards that aren't Blue Flare.
True. You can't search your starter deck Greymon. That's right.
Part.
That's the downside. You can't search the security tech +1.
The only way that card isn't like as good is if they increase the cost of it. Like if they made it 8 cost, I don't think it's like as good, but it's still super good.
I think it's unplayably bad.
If they made it 6 cost, it would give you delay +3 memory.
True.
It's like reinforce.
Yeah, I think if they made it 8 cost, it would be unplayably bad. I don't think you could play it. Like you would have to. Yeah, it's
good card is good.
Yeah, incredibly strong card is incredibly strong.
So Ben, you want to do my job again this week?
No, you can have your job back.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, you got it, big dog.
I did that completely blind, by the way.
I know
you did great. Yeah. Unironically, you did great. Yeah.
Yeah, you did a really good job. It was funny that you did such a good job because you weren't anticipating me putting that in the video.
Yeah, because I mean, you weren't even there for the first half.
No, I wasn't there.
Just guessed.
Anything before when I popped in.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sure they went over their locals.
I heard y'all talked about a regional.
Yeah.
Or some. It wasn't even a regional. It was like some small event. So I was like, it was like 70. He said like 70. So it was like what, a 72-player event.
It was 68, and I think it was a regional. It's either regional or an Ultimate Cup, but it was something like that. Are there any other cards that search 6 besides those 2?
I can't think of anything.
I can't either. But like
Google parameters. Let me see. Let me read Dynasmon and I'll search the same
parameters
as him.
Because if I wasn't a yellow main, I wouldn't even know that Dynast did that, just because it was never really played.
Oh, I feel like there is another one.
I feel like there is two. It's probably in an archetype or something that I've never built before, so like I don't remember it exists. Because I forgot about the blue fire option.
The new Gunjormon that's about to come out in EX7 has revealed the top 6.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Those are the only 3 cards.
They're wildin', dude. That's like
All right.
25% of your deck. Yeah,
I don't feel like we had a whole lot of dead air to cut this podcast down.
I mean, there was your pee break, but I mean, other than that,
yeah. I mean, they can be as long as whatever. I don't care about the length. I was just wondering about your guys' time.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and get out of here. Me and the wife need to get something to eat.
Same.
All right. Talk to you, boys. Maybe Tuesday we can play test full power cross.
I would like that very much.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right. See you guys.
Later.
All right, see you guys.